on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drape.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. Kevin Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper. How's everything in, I guess you're in sunny Miami now, right, Drapes?
Yes, in Miami. Yeah, hold on. I got some technical difficulties here.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Kyle Draper on the road with the Kings, of course, last night. Had the play-by-play in Memphis. And then moving on to Miami, where the Kings take on the Heat tomorrow. And you can't really blame the Kings for maybe coming out with less than 100% effort last night. They knew they didn't need probably to put their best foot forward to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. And, yeah, that game probably ended up being a little closer than it needed to be. But the Kings get the W, 120 to 115. So even when the Kings are underwhelming right now, Drapes, they're still looking better than they were a few weeks ago.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Whitey? You got me good?
Yes, sir. We got you loud and clear. Thank you.
You know what? I'm glad you said what you just said, because here's the thing about the Sacramento Kings. It wasn't pretty, wasn't the cleanest of games, but they got the win.
Yeah.
And to me, that's ultimately what's most important. And when you look at an NBA schedule, you're going to have games like we saw last night. I think it's encouraging that they threw the ball away as much as they did, was still able to find a win. And, one thing I, talked to the players about yesterday is the fact that, sure, that they jump out to a 15-point lead on you. Memphis doesn't have anybody playing other than Jaren Jackson Jr., but you don't panic. You hit singles. You don't go for the home run, the grand slam to try and get back in the game. You just kept hitting singles. And I thought that's what happened last night.
Yeah, maybe I'm being fooled here. But like I said, in recent weeks when the Kings would not play well, even if they won, it just felt like, okay, something's not right here. But last night it felt like, yeah, we're good. They've got some things figured out, and it wasn't their cleanest game, but I don't feel like there's any underlying problems. Maybe I'm fooling myself, like I say, Drapes, but right now just everything feels much, much more positive than it did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, 100%. And, I make the mistake, Whitey, of every time the Kings play, because I'm traveling back, we hopping on the team, playing the bus, and, you're bored, so you go to social media. And so I'm like, all right, let me see what people are saying. And, some of the negativity, like, it just bothers me, man. It's like it's fake outrage. People are upset. Oh, man, they won, but it shouldn't have been that close. And, the 19 turnovers. Shut up. This fake outrage is just getting to be too much for me, man. And that's what I felt like happened after the game. We can't just look at where this team is. 27-18, fifth in the Western Conference. They've won 4 in a row. Now's not the time to be whining and moaning and complaining. Enjoy, a nice, solid win, I thought.
Yeah, and you do have to give, I think, some credit to the Grizzlies, and I know it's cliche, but they do play hard. And I'm sitting there, as I'm sure you and Katie were. We heard you doing the game, and Santi Aldama is like, man, he made another 3. I mean, he made the first 2, and he's still making them. That's not supposed to happen. So there was some nervous times in that game.
Yeah, but this is the NBA, and Whitey, you've covered the league, and Jay,
sure.
When guys who don't get an opportunity, they're going to shine. One thing I talked with Brevin Knight, who's the Grizzlies analyst, I talked to him about before the game. What people don't understand is pretty much everybody in the NBA came into the NBA as a bucket getter, as guys that could score. At the college level, they were their team's leading scorer. They were their go-to guys. And when you get to the NBA, you sort of have to sacrifice and you get fit into a role, boxed into a role. Well, Santi Aldama, you know what? The dude can shoot. He's a ball player. You look at a guy like Matthew Hurt, who came in last night. Like all these guys, this is the NBA. Every guy on the floor can score buckets. And one thing that, I wasn't worried is that the Grizzlies were hitting all their threes early. They're not a really good three-point shooting team. They take a lot of them, and you hope that, water will find its level at some point. And I think that's ultimately what happened. And so, the Grizzlies, they know just as well as everybody, oh, man, we're without 11 players. Everybody thinks we're done. We're going to go out there and show them. And they played hard. And I thought our guys, played the right way and got back into it and had the right mindset throughout the game.
Yeah, that was in no ways, to me, a troubling win. During the game, it was a little touch and go here and there, but overall, it's like, yeah, they got the win. And then Domas, of course, with 26 rebounds. I really appreciated it after the game, Kyle. You and Katie signed off. And then Deuce and Morgan were doing an interview with Domas, and Deuce asked him, basically like, how do you do that? How do you get that many rebounds? And Domas said, well, they helped. They missed an awful lot of shots. And it's like, yeah, there's certainly that. But he's just so relentless. And it was interesting reading the piece in The Athletic from Sam Amick, where basically Domas says he's kind of motivated by fear. He's just always feeling like, I got to do more. I got to do more. And the Kings are benefiting from that, obviously, right now.
Yeah, and it's something I talked to him about after the game. I said, where does this drive, this determination, this wanting to play hard day in and day out, where does that come from? And he told me, basically, it's not going to last forever, and when you retire and at the end of the day, you don't want to look back on and say, you know what, I didn't give it my all. Or you don't want to look back on and say, you know what, I wish I would have did this. He said, and he walked off the stage and I said, no regrets, right? He's like, exactly. I don't want to have any regrets about my effort during my career.
Mm-hmm. And then 23 from De'Aaron Fox on 14 shots. Obviously, you don't need me to read the box score here, but it was just, all things considered, a nice feel-good win. Probably a night where the Kings were hoping they could have a little more downtime, right? Because they know they got a lot of games coming up here. They got Miami coming up, but they got the W. And now all of a sudden you look at the standings and there's some nice things happening for Sacramento.
Exactly. And, to get off on this 7-game road trip with 3 straight wins, I think is momentous. It's huge because, as you know, things get tough for sure. Miami's lost 7 in a row. We'll see them tomorrow. But you're talking teams that are either playoff teams or play-in teams at this stage. And so that the schedule gets, infinitely more difficult. But you're right, man. You look at a guy like De'Aaron Fox scoring 23 points, and it only took him 14 shots. And the fact that he got to the line 10 times, I would have liked for him to make more free throws, obviously. But, there were several encouraging signs last night, despite the 19 turnovers. And you're right. You look at the standings. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight. We talked the other day about there being sort of a line of demarcation between, the top 4 seeds and everybody else. If I'm correct right now, the Kings are just 3 games behind in that 4th spot, race for that 4th spot behind the Clippers. And so, I mean, there's still some time to make this up. And so I'm not counting them out at all right now from maybe even being a top 4 Western Conference team.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think neither one of us would have said that about 2 weeks ago, but here, right. Yet here we are. The Suns, by the way, I know we're going to talk about all the trade rumors swirling around. There's one going around today. I don't know how solid it is, but there's talk of the Suns maybe getting Miles Bridges. What do you think of that?
Really?
Yeah, I saw something along those lines. Yeah, that would be tricky for him to do.
Right.
But yeah, that's the other thing here. The Kings may feel great about things now, but all those teams around them, they're all looking at ways to improve, and we could still have some seismic changes here before the deadline.
Yeah, and our guy Anthony Slater had a good article about the Warriors on The Athletic, and the thing about it is everybody's buyers right now. There aren't a whole lot of sellers. There are some, but when you look at the Western Conference, I'm looking at 12 teams that are buyers right now. Everybody from Golden State to Houston, even Utah, I think, they may sell off a part or two, but they may be looking to buy us. Like, there are 12 teams that aren't out of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think when you look at the landscape of the West, the competition, whether it's for Miles Bridges, whether it's for Caruso, whoever it may be, it is going to be fierce. And you may have to overpay for some guys. I don't know how the Suns are going to, land a guy like Miles Bridges. I don't know how much it's going to take, but didn't they give up everything in Bradley Beal trade? Didn't they give up everything in Kevin Durant trade? Like, what more assets do these guys have?
Yeah, I think they have a lot of second rounders maybe, and they have Utah Watanabe. So I don't know. By the way, speaking of all this, how tightly packed it is in the West. You had the Rockets over the Lakers last night. What was that? Man. LeBron's response to what Dylan Brooks did to him. I'm not a big Dylan Brooks fan. You are, but to me, LeBron he gets hit in the face, and it looks like he got shot. I didn't think that was the best response.
Whitey,
he goes right down, and he's like, get up and hit him back. No, you're not with me on that?
No, you can't do that in today's NBA. What should have happened, Dylan Brooks should have been ejected from the game. That's what it
Okay.
should that should have happened. If you're LeBron James, you know, you've never been a fighter, first of all. Let's call it like it is. LeBron has never been that dude to really square up on anybody. And when you
Sure.
look at the LeBron's arc of his career, whether it's Lance Stevenson, whether it's Deshaun Stevenson, whether it's Dylan Brooks, he's always had sort of a villain or a rival that's trying to get under his skin. And I thought what Dylan Brooks did, when you look at the replay, it was a dirty shot. It was a cheap
I
shot,
agree.
and
I
he
agree.
should have been ejected. Now, what should have happened, Whitey, and this in the old NBA, you notice how it would have been. Maybe not LeBron, but somebody else on the team should have came in and did
Yeah.
something, to have his
Mhm.
back. Well, who's the
Mhm.
enforcer on the Lakers? And
Yeah.
that's what should have happened, or it should have been a hard foul on Dylan Brooks next down. But these guys aren't like that, man. There's only a handful of guys in the league like that, and I'm a Dylan Brooks guy.
I
But
know.
he
I
had
know.
multiple cheap shots yesterday. The push in the back of Jared Vanderbilt. I'm like, it's nowhere, no place in the game for that. I was disappointed in Dylan because I've gone on record as saying I would love for him to be here in Sacramento, but I can't condone those kind of antics.
Now, did you happen to see, not to put you on the spot, but I don't know if you watched the Lakers, and you probably didn't because I think it was right after the Kings played the Lakers and the Warriors, the double overtime game on Saturday,
Yeah.
right after. Yeah. And there was a play late in the game. And I forget. It might have been end of regulation, one of the overtimes. Draymond Green is trying to foul Anthony Davis, and he smacked him across the face.
Mm.
He smacked him hard, and Anthony Davis had the ball kind of down by his waist, and Draymond hit him up in the forehead. And somebody on the Lakers said, check that. And Draymond he started mocking that.
Yeah.
The league didn't even look at it. I think at this point, it's like, they don't want any part of any of that Draymond stuff anymore. It's like, no, we did that. It's fixed now. That's a play on. But he smoked AD right across the unibrow.
I saw that. And then the reaction, like you said, he's like, Draymond to me is the most unlikable NBA player in terms of the antics on the floor, even the results. Like, he's not going to light you up for 20 points. He's not going to get 15 rebounds. He has an impact on the game, no doubt about it. But man, he is that guy you love to hate. Maybe if he's on your team, you love him. I don't know if the Warriors are getting tired of him. Their fan base are getting tired of him right now. But even as an opposing player, like, I don't know how somebody hasn't cold cocked that guy yet. Let's keep it real. Him or Dylan Brooks, like, they always try to get under your skin, to show you up. And like you said, he whacked Anthony Davis, and they didn't even look at that. I thought that was shocking.
It was very surprising. Do we have Drapes Takes coming up to look forward to?
I got you, big fella.
All right.
I got
That's
you.
next year. Drapes Takes. Kyle Draper live from Miami next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
night, somebody would have left to his defense, one of his teammates from the 916. That's why I can't stand the league anymore. Guys are clearly not invested enough to stick up for each other. Too much money. Hadn't thought of that. But I think also it's with LeBron, it's like he's just like he's bigger than just a teammate, right? He's like, that's LeBron. I don't know. Are we LeBron's like the league itself, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. But think about this, Texter. The reason they can't stand the league is because guys aren't going to fight. They're not going to commit hard fouls. It's like, come on. What are we talking about here?
Well, he didn't say he or she, I don't know, but they didn't say guys aren't going to fight. They said they don't stand up for each other anymore.
What did you want? What did you want somebody to do? If not, come back and fight or I don't know. I maybe I took it a little too far, but I appreciate the text. Hit us up 916-339-1140. But nah. Do we really want the Knicks and Heat in the 90s? Is that what we want? Do we want the Malice in the Palace? Is that what we want?
Poor, Kermit Washington and all that. No,
you're
right. There was a time when we had that, and
there has to be a balance, right? Somewhere, hopefully.
Commissioner Stern, for better or worse, he legislated that out of the game. I mean, you can't blame a guy now for not wanting to get thrown out of the game and hurt his team.
Right. You can't even come off the bench anymore,
Yeah.
And be a part of a pushing and shoving. And so, I appreciate the text, but it is what it is.
Before we get to Drapes' takes, I'm just wondering, what's your level of Super Bowl fever right now? How you feeling about the Super Bowl? I know you're focused on the Kings, understandably. You're in Miami. They've had a lot of Super Bowls there. I mean, is it like, because I'm having a hard time containing myself. So I'm just wondering where, I'm so excited.
Dude, the game is like next month. It's weeks away almost.
It literally is. You're right.
Whitey Drapes is sipping on the umbrella. You see, he's got the pineapple in the cup. He's already. He don't care about the Super Bowl.
How'd you know?
Because we can see you on the StreamYard.
I tell you what, Jay. You must know I like this job. I'm in Miami, Florida.
I'm telling you.
Beautiful day out. And I'm stuck in this darn room for 4 hours with you clowns? Come on, man.
You're in a ballroom?
Look like he's at a convention right now, man. What is a tech convention going on behind you?
Dude, I think there's some paper convention going on or something. No, this is the team's actually meal room. This is where the team will eat their meals. I was going to do it from my room, my hotel room, but the lighting's bad. But then I came down here and I'm like, this ain't much better. And so I apologize for the quality.
We can see everything.
Like you about to have a prom. You got your suit ready?
Get out the way here. If you on the YouTube chat, you'll be able to see. This is where the squad will eat. And I don't know if you can see those chairs, row of chairs right up in front there. Those are
symposium.
That's where they're going to do the film room. They're going to put up a little screen right there, and everybody going to sit there and watch film. So giving y'all some behind the scenes on the YouTube chat here.
Nice. Why don't you give us when you're ready?
Else.
Yeah. Another thing we can't get anywhere else. Drapes takes with the drive guys.
Calm down, Lion. Calm down. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
Drapes Takes, a special South Beach edition. That's right, because that's where I want to be right now. I want to be in South Beach. I want to be at the Clevelander. I want to be hanging out on Ocean Ave. Instead, I'm with you guys, so I'm going to deliver the flavor for you here. Let's talk about last night's game. I mentioned it in the first segment. We can talk about all the fake outrage we want. We could talk about the 19 turnovers that led to 22 points. We could talk about the 3 of 19 shooting from 3 against the shorthanded Memphis team. If you want to be upset about that, go for it. It's your right. But I choose to look at the positive from this team, Whitey. I saw growth in this team. Remember, we've seen at times when this team gets behind, guys will start going one-on-one, Malik or De'Aaron, and try and bring them back themselves. I thought they stuck to their principles. They were very measured in their comeback, and they never panicked yesterday. And to me, that's a sign of growth from this Sacramento Kings team. It was like, you know what? It was sort of like your San Francisco 49ers. The Lions got up big, and the Niners never panicked. They came out and handled their business. And I thought to hold the Grizzlies to 17 in the second quarter, 21 in the third quarter, and then 23 in the fourth. What more could you want from the Sacramento Kings? They did a fantastic job defensively, and that's why they got the win. That's my first take, Whitey.
Well, now that I know that the mock outrage gets under your skin a little bit, I'm going to have to come up with some. I don't know how you're so excited when they miss they go 6 for 10 from the foul line. I don't know. 60% from the foul line ain't going to get it done, Kyle. I don't know what game you're watching, but what is that? That's a disgrace. Come on.
All right, Matt George. That's what I'm going to start calling you, Matt George, because Matt George was on one last night. And I'm like, dude, lighten up. Y'all had good weather in Sacramento yesterday, too. Go outside, take a walk, go walk the dog or something, Go to the Folsom Lake or the river or something. Enjoy your life. There's no reason to be outraged over what we saw yesterday. Do you want De'Aaron Fox to make his free throws? Yes. Do you want them to cut down on their turnovers? Yes. But to be angry about it? Come on, man. I'm in South Beach. I'm in Miami. I can't be angry about anything right now.
Right. Show that cup again, Kyle. Show that cup again.
I got my cup, my mocktail going right here. My virgin colada is what I got. I was out at the pool earlier today, and I was looked at my watch, and I was like, dang. It's 4:30. I got to go do this damn radio show. And
if
so
you like Draper's Colada. Yeah. All right.
I told my man Jose I'll be back in between breaks to get another one. So let's hurry this up. All right.
Here's your first one. Fine. What else you got?
The second Drapes tape. I got to give a shout out to my guy, Domantas Sabonis. Mike Brown mentioned him in the same conversation as Wilt Chamberlain last night. And he said, you know what? Domas isn't Wilt. We all knew that. But the way he's playing, I need to check social media. Did Kevin O'Connor say anything? Did John Hollinger say anything? I said it before, and I'll say it again, Whitey. Domantas Sabonis is the third best center in the NBA. He's behind Embiid, he's behind Joker, and then it's Domas. And I don't include Anthony Davis as a center. He's not a center in my book. But for my money, give me Domantas Sabonis. 26 rebounds, 6 of them on the offensive end. And the fact that he just plays hard every single night. How can anyone really knock down this guy or denigrate this guy? He is an ideal basketball player. That's what you want from your NBA players, guys that bring it every night.
Here's an idea for Domas. Why doesn't he open a Lithuanian bakery specializing in turnovers? He had 3 of them last night. The Kings last night with 19 turnovers. That's a disgraceful display against a lesser team that you should have been able to beat with your eyes closed, Kyle Draper. So, 26 rebounds, great, but you have got to take care of the basketball at this level.
I tell you, man. And do you have any joy in your life? Like, is there anything that makes you happy, Matt George? I mean, Whitey, like, what are you doing? Like, you could be outraged about the 3 turnovers, but look at the 26 rebounds. He was dominant.
That's good.
The dude was 10 for 11. Oh, but he did miss that one shot. I'm sure you're outraged about that, too.
Yeah, I thought he should have made he should have had that one.
Right. He should have made that shot. He should have made.
Exactly.
I
could have made that shot left in.
Take. Yeah. My final one, Whitey, and this one is near and dear to my heart, and it's my guy Harrison Barnes. People will wake up today and be like, "Oh, Harrison Barnes resorted back to himself, only scored 12 points. Where was HB?" I don't care about the 12 points from Harrison Barnes. You know what I care about from Harrison Barnes? He took 15 shots. Re-rack it, Jay. Re-rack it. My guy took 15 shots. He was active. He was impactful. And maybe the shots didn't fall, but I loved what I saw from Harrison Barnes last night. Take the open shots. Be aggressive. They didn't fall last night, just 5 of 15. But we still see how valuable he is. 35 minutes, and he was active. And so give Harrison Barnes some props, not just for the 12 points, because you can look at the box score and be like, oh, he only had 12 points. I'm looking at the shots. The guy was impactful last night.
Yeah, I'm with you. And all kidding aside, it is interesting that he took 15 shots. Herder took 15 shots. Nobody else on the team took more than that. Yeah, De'Aaron taking 14. And I'm telling you, one of the real stories of this turnaround is however the Kings got back to this. Was it just, hey, HB called for the ball, we gave him the ball, he made a few shots, and voila? Or did somebody at some point say, look, guys, this is our best chance to win is to have a more balanced attack? I don't know if we'll ever know, but whatever it is, it's working, and I'm with you. 15 shots for HB, even though he only made 5, is still a good sign.
Yeah, it's not like 2 shots, it's
Right.
not like 4 shots. He was
Right.
still active, engaged. He took 10 3-pointers last night, and they were mostly good looks. He just didn't knock them down. And so I got a bonus Drapes take real quick.
Woo.
Give Trey Lyles some credit too. He played 24 minutes, which interesting. Keegan Murray only played 24 minutes also. So it was a light night for Keegan Murray. Maybe didn't have it going. Mike Brown going with a Trey Lyles, Harrison Barnes, and Domas front court a lot last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Malik not playing great lately, but all right, I know. They won, so we're
Exactly.
good. Can't nitpick.
No need for that fake outrage. They won the game. Let's enjoy it. I'm down here in Miami. Let's enjoy it, baby.
Yeah. So you don't think anybody, and I was kidding around about this stuff, but you don't think anybody who is upset about the game you don't think any of that sincere? You're not buying any outrage over that game last night?
Not at all.
You call that
Not
fake outrage.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and that's what the media does. That's what we do nowadays. It's like, oh my gosh, how can they barely get by a Memphis team? What are we talking about? A week ago, they would have lost this game. 2 weeks ago, they would have lost this game. And so, sure, they didn't blow them out like you wanted them to, but I was very encouraged by what I saw last night from this team, just its ability to bounce back. And think about it. Outside of the 33 first quarter points by the Grizzlies, let me do the math. The Grizzlies scored 61 points over the final 3 quarters. Think about that, Whitey. 61 points. So outside of the first quarter, the Kings pretty much controlled that game. They handled them in that game. And so I'm not going to be outraged by that.
All right. Fair enough. We got some interesting questions for you on the chat. We'll get back to those. And when we come back, we have an update on the Sacramento A's. Kyle's in Miami. Whitey in Sacramento. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
The NFC champion San Francisco 49ers will get their chance at revenge when they face the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl LVIII.
Jimmy going to throw a deep shot into double coverage. It's intercepted by Fuller, and that will be it. The Kansas City Chiefs will win their first Super Bowl.
Reed versus Shanahan. Purdy versus Mahomes. The Chiefs versus the 49ers. It's Super Bowl LVIII, Sunday, February 11th.
And it's on your home for the National Football League, Sactown Sports.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo, with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Plus line dancing, a mechanical bull, and Sacramento's best food trucks. One-day tickets are on sale now, starting at $46, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more info, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Hubble Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT. It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers. We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges out of respect. We do good deeds for free for our customers. and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect. So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you. Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Time to get your tickets for the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame celebration. February 4th at Thunder Valley. Inductees include Matt Barnes. Go to Ticketmaster.com.
Miami.
The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper's having a heck of a time in Miami, getting ready for the Kings and the Heat tomorrow. And you're right, Kyle. I assume the weather's great there, but we're having really nice weather, at least today in Sacramento. Beautiful sunrise today. Rain's supposed to come tomorrow, but I assume it's just balmy there, sunny, warm in Miami.
Yes, 70s, sunny. Yeah. A few clouds out there. You know, I thought about taking a swim, a little dip in the pool. Decided not to. Went for a nice walk. Had some lunch at an outdoor restaurant. And I tell you what, as soon as this show is over, your boy's going to go find a good meal somewhere. Maybe head to South Beach. I don't know. I got to get into something tonight, though.
Mm-hmm. On the chat, Manny Tulajits is very nice road winning streak we have here. If we can beat the Miami Heat, I feel like we can really go 5-2 or even 6-1. Yeah.
Why not, right? I mean, I think tomorrow's a critical game. Obviously, Miami is reeling right now. They've lost 7 in a row. Looking at their injury sheet, no Duncan Robinson tomorrow. He's in concussion protocol, so Miami's a little banged up. But, you know, so far, so good on this road trip, man. You know, 3 in a row, 4 in a row overall. You got to be feeling good if you're a Kings fan, unless you're, you know, fake outraged about last night.
Craig Sheehy in Miami on business going to the game tomorrow. Where do the Kings stay in Miami, he wonders?
The Best Western on Biscayne Bay. Tell him he can go there. The Best Western on Biscayne Bay Boulevard. He can meet us there. How about that?
Yeah. Do you get drinks with pineapple in it there?
Right. We at the Holiday Inn Express on 95 South right now. Come on, man. I can't give out the secret bat location. I guarantee you can't get the pineapple drinks, though, at those spots.
Okay. I apologize for asking. I thought that was common knowledge, or maybe not, but I know there's places you can look that up. So, but yeah, I wasn't trying to ask you, information that you're not supposed to.
Drapes. Go ahead.
Maybe
Jay.
not.
I don't know if people know. I have no idea. Fans somehow figure it out, but you know how it is in NBA cities. The same hotels, the Ritz, the Four Seasons,
Best Western,
Best Western,
Best Western, Holiday Inn. Throw that in there too.
Right.
Make sure the Vagabond. La Quinta. Drapes, have you, because it's a little different now. It's not the same as it used to be, and why do you know this, where guys, and we've read about this, seen stories about this where guys had nicknames and, AKAs. Have you ever done that on the road? Have you ever
I haven't, dude.
Never done it? Okay.
No alias. Right. Nah, man, I don't have to. I'm not that dude. You know what
so
I mean?
I can call and say, I want to speak to give me Kyle Draper's room, please.
Yeah. I want people to recognize me. I'm like, look at me over here. It's Drapes. And they never want to get my autograph or picture. I want that attention, bro. And I'm not creeping out here like that. Some of these dudes out here creeping too. So, you don't want that your name on the room for that.
That's too bad. We should come up with an alias for him, Jay. I don't know what it would be. What's your middle name, Drapes?
No,
Can't say that.
No. Why would I tell you that so you could just come up with something?
Whitey, man, you working for the CIA or something here, brother?
You want my middle name, my government name.
I already have it. I know what it is, by the way. Yeah. And then we have from Brian here, Brian Cardicelli, who may or may not be related to Frankie, says that's a good point on Harrison Barnes. I remember a few weeks ago, you were talking about how he should be taking a minimum of 10 shots per game. Thank you, Brian.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. We just want an engaged Harrison Barnes. We don't want a Harrison Barnes standing in the corner like a house plant or something like that. I don't mind him taking 10, 15 shots a game if they're good looks. He's a starter. He's a good player. The efficiency numbers are there. And so, yeah, I'm encouraged by what I saw from HB last night.
Yeah. Now, I know we got the Kings won last night. They're playing well. They're playing again tomorrow. We got Super Bowl coming up, but I just want to take a moment to address what's going on with the A's because it could directly impact fans here in Sacramento. The Kings, as we know, the A's could be moving to Sacramento on a temporary basis. Interesting piece that Jay pointed out to us, ESPN.com today. Everything is still in limbo because of local TV money. The A's have a contract with your station or your company, Kyle. But if they move to Sacramento, NBC Sports California is not required to pay them the amount that they're contractually they've agreed upon because it's not in the Bay Area. So the A's ownership is trying to figure out how they deal with that. The lease is running out in Oakland after this year. Basically, nobody knows what they're going to do, and it appears they don't know what they're going to do either.
John Fisher has botched this right from the get-go. You would think this is something that you would have already had wrapped up, already had negotiated. But now you've pissed off, the city of Oakland. They don't want you as a short-term rental anymore. NBC is looking at it, and I'm not speaking for them, but if I was running it, we don't have to pay you to $70 million?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, sure. We'll air your games. How about 10 million? How about 5 million? You know what I mean? And now Salt Lake City's, trying to get it, but they already got multiple teams there that are, consider the Salt Lake market as its home market where they broadcast games, the Rockies, the Diamondbacks. And so here's the problem John Fisher also is facing. There's nobody clamoring to watch that product on TV. Let's call it what it is.
No question.
People don't even want to go to the games, let alone watch them on TV. And so he has botched this. He is in a lose-lose situation. And so ultimately, he'll get his way, probably go to Vegas, make the money that he wants. But in the short term, they may not have a place to play. And here's the thing, too, Whitey. Even if they did come to Sacramento, what's the number? 11,000. They could take it to 14,000 in terms of seats at Sutter Park. Same thing with Salt Lake City. They're building an arena, a stadium that seats 11,000. Like, you're talking about a professional franchise that can't even draw 10,000 people to its stadium. It's a sad day, and it's only John Fisher's fault. He's the one to blame. He's in a lose-lose situation. I said it in our text chain earlier today. It's like, I think for NBC, this is a win because John Fisher needs you. You don't need them.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
don't need the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all. One of the things that stood out to me in the story from Jeff Passan is he writes, while Sacramento previously had shown no aspirations to bring MLB to town, Salt Lake City has been effusive in its desire. And he talks about Big League Utah, which is a group at the heart of Salt Lake's efforts. And so it's interesting because basically Jeff Passan is saying Salt Lake City really wants Major League Baseball. Sacramento has never really expressed that. But to me, it's pretty clear this would be part of a Sacramento effort to get the attention of Major League Baseball. And I'm hoping we can get at some point into contact with the mayor's office, because I want to clarify that. I think this is an indication Sacramento is all in on getting a team at some point. That is not reflected in this story.
Yeah, it's not reflected in that story, but you got to imagine, like, when you hear Mayor talk about it.
Yeah.
When you hear, Vivek talk, like, the goal is to bring another professional team to Sacramento, whatever it may be. MLS, NHL, MLB. Like, there's from a politics standpoint, from a city standpoint, of course you would like a Major League Baseball team. I was shocked by that too, that, it basically said, Sacramento hadn't shown any interest. And I don't think that's the mayor's position at all. And I would love to get him on our air to ask him directly, because anytime you hear him or talk, he's all about bringing new things into Sacramento, not turning things down or saying, no, we don't want that. So that was a little shocking.
Yeah, and if Sacramento is interested, we need people like Jeff Passan to know that, hey, you're wrong. We are interested. One more thing, and the A's have been reaching these deadlines for funding and stadium plans, just barely getting across the finish line in time. And here's one more that if they don't meet this, it could throw the whole process into doubt here. Getting a stadium deal in the first place took lots of legwork and lobbying. Getting the stadium built by 2028 depends upon staying on schedule, and the A's are not great at that. So if there's some delays, and there are people in Vegas now pushing back against the stadium plans, if they don't get this thing built in time, and already they don't know what they're going to do during that limbo period.
Right.
I'm wondering if the A's are without a home, if baseball owners could at some point in 2027 or whatever say, dude, you got to sell the team. You don't even have a place to play. This has been like franchise malfeasance. I think it's approaching that level.
Yeah, you're talking about not having the home for maybe 4 years, 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this would be a black eye on Major League Baseball. It would tarnish Major League Baseball, in my opinion. This what's happening now, Whitey, is the stuff 20 years from now. We're going to be talking about a 30 for 30 or a documentary about the fall of the Oakland A's and John Fisher's role in it. And so, and as you know, with construction projects, there's always something that comes up.
Oh yeah,
something that delays it. I mean, and so it's an ambitious goal, for 2027 as is.
Yeah, to that point, that's the reason why Sutter Health Park, you can't just add an upper deck. That was the original plan, but they had to hurry it along to get it ready in time, and they had to change their plan. So, yes, unfortunately, we know all too well here in Sacramento that baseball stadium plans don't always go as planned. So, fingers crossed that we get, I don't know, I still haven't given up hope, Jay, that they're going to end up somehow, some way being the Oakland A's. I know that seems like impossible,
like you're thinking,
far-fetched, but I'm not giving up on that yet.
No need to give up hope. I agree with it. And, the malcontent of what's going on with the A's may play, and I think that's what you're saying, may play towards the positive for us Oakland A's fans. Hey, listen, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Without a John Fisher, of course.
Yes.
Right.
Of course. When we come back, got another friendly reminder that NFL football dominates all with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Super Bowl LVIII, live from Las Vegas, Sunday, February 11th on Sactown Sports.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Start your 2024 grilling season right with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My personal Napoleon P500 series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro. It's incredible. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge of your seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.
Stop by any participating Save Mart location for a 20% off ticket discount code when you buy Monster Energy.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store. And I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
For sore feet, aching back, knee, or hip pain, come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, or Vacaville.
Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Superstore. Great selection, great factory financing and incentive, and great Maida Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Well, you watch the game on TV, right? Oh, maybe you listen to it here on Sactown Sports, the 49ers and Lions. Buddy Gleason here in Sacramento. Kyle Draper's in Miami. He's having some delicious tropical drinks. He should be poolside, but no, he's in some ballroom somewhere. Well, that's okay. Conference room, whatever it is.
I might relocate during the long commercial break and head on out there.
You need to get out there poolside, bruh.
But it's getting dark out here, dude. The time difference is killing me. It's getting to be nighttime out here.
I gotcha. Well, anyway, my point was the TV ratings, as you've probably seen by now, for the game between the Lions and the 49ers, massive. And it's like every week the NFL is setting new records, and these numbers may vary, and they're still calculating them. 56.6 million viewers for 49ers Lions, fourth most non-Super Bowl telecast in the history of Fox. 56.6 million viewers.
The NFL is king. I mean, you know what's so crazy, Whitey? How much did you say, 56?
56.6, yeah. I've seen it higher than that. I've seen the estimates run a little higher than that even.
Meanwhile, my beloved NBA is touting that the Warriors-Lakers game drew 3.9 million, I think it was, or something like that.
I know.
It's so embarrassing. Like, it's amazing. Like, the NFL is king. I mean, it's in our DNA. It's interesting. My daughter, who's not even a football fan, is going to a Super Bowl party. Like, she's excited to go to a Super Bowl party. And I'm just like, you know, she don't care about football, but if
Kevin Hurd plays here.
It's like an event. You know, it's a gathering. People get together. They don't do that for a basketball game, a hockey game, but for an NFL game, it's a 1 week thing where people get together and bond over it.
Every game's an event.
Yeah.
The league announced today, the NFL that is, that this year's 12 playoff games averaged, all the playoff games, 38.5 million viewers, making this the most watched playoffs the NFL has ever had, ever. And the Super Bowl will probably set the record, which I believe was set last year. Funny thing is, they didn't announce that last year's Super Bowl had the most viewers ever until sometime in May, because they crunched the numbers and then they came out, well, we've added everything up now. And it was like in May that they decided last year's Super Bowl was the most watched. But I think, you know, I know they had the Eagles playing last year, Kyle, but I think this year's going to top even last year.
I don't know. One guy who might not watch it, though, is yours truly. No, see, you think it's because of the Niners being in it. No, remember, we're in OKC.
I know.
And then we hop on the plane. I'm hoping the Wi-Fi is good enough to watch it, but it's crazy. We fly to Phoenix right after, I believe. And so I may be on a plane when the game is going on. So.
Hey, I don't know if you've heard about this yet. I'm working on a new song because you've taught me to become – such a Taylor Swift fan. And I'm looking for some way to, pay tribute to her with the game coming up. So I'm working on this song, and I'd have to get someone else sing it, but basically it would go something like, Chiefs will never, ever, ever beat the 49ers. Something like that. Don't you think? You can show your tight end's famous girlfriend on TV. How about
That's
it?
a good idea for Niners fans. You maybe E40 will sing that version for you also, or something like that. But no, you know what's so crazy? I was in Memphis yesterday, and before the show, I'm walking down Beale Street, and I'm ducking into music store after music store after music store, and I'm like, "Hey, do you have any Taylor Swift merchandise? Anything I could buy?" Because I'm telling you, your boy was going to wear something. I'm a Swiftie first and foremost.
Sure. Yes.
But the fact that her boyfriend is taking on the Niners, I'm like all in on Kelsey and Swift right now. And so I was going to wear some Swiftie gear. I couldn't find it.
Couldn't find any?
I could, because it's in Memphis. They got tons of Elvis stuff. You want some Elvis gear? I can hook you up with some Elvis gear, some BB King. They got plenty of that, but Taylor Swift. Yeah, it was it was shocking. It was shocking.
What was BB King's guitar? Wasn't his guitar named Lucille, I think?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you guys had nice shots last night of Beale Street on the telecast. One more thing, talking about sports on TV. This came out last week. I'm sure you're aware of it. You were aware of it before us, but we didn't talk about it because the Warriors had those games postponed because of the passing of their coach. They had to redo the schedule. So there's a Dallas Warriors game that got moved, and it's going to bump now. I think it's April 2nd. They're going to move a Kings Clippers game that was going to be on TNT. That's not on TNT now. It's going to be the Warriors and the Mavericks. And I mean, I guess, do they know what they're doing? I mean, Clippers Kings April 2nd. That would be a pretty good game.
I agree, but you know how the NBA operates, and this is one of the frustrating. It's about the star power. Steph, Luka. They're not going to market it as Warriors Clippers or Warriors Mavericks. They're going to market it as Steph versus Luka. And so I'm not sure. Like, the Warriors already have their maximum number of national games. It's not like, oh, we took one away earlier because of, the 2 canceled games. So we owe this to you. And so I'm shocked that, because you're right. It seems like the Clippers and Kings, they always play some great basketball games. And you're talking, what's going to be 2 of the top 5 teams in the Western Conference late in the season battling for position. But it's all about the star power. Luka versus Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that the Clippers obviously have a lot of star power. And I know you're right, but I also think they should consider that De'Aaron Fox now. Did you know this, Kyle? He has the 15th best-selling jersey in the entire NBA. Yeah, it goes Curry, Tatum, LeBron, Wemby, Giannis, Luka, Booker, KD, Maxey, Dame, and then Ja, Embiid, LaMelo Ball, Joker, and De'Aaron Fox, number 15.
You know what's so crazy about that? Shout out to our guy, Foxy. You see that Fox number 5 wherever you go now in the NBA. But I don't think Shai Gilgeous was on that list.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right? De'Aaron was ahead of a
Maxey.
guy like Shai Gilgeous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maxey on there, and you have somehow LaMelo Ball on there. And I love watching both those guys play. I'm just surprised, especially LaMelo Ball is higher than Jokic or De'Aaron Fox. It's crazy.
Yeah. Is this some funny math you're thinking here? Is there something going on? Because you're right. How is LaMelo Ball ahead of some of these other guys? I mean, you got and Ja still on there. Like, people still loving Ja. And how about the Joker, one of the faces of the NBA, LaMelo Ball being ahead of him? It doesn't make sense. I'm surprised. I think I would not be shocked if tomorrow they came out and said, oh, man, we messed up, actually. Shai Gilgeous, because he's like, kids love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's all my son talks about is Anthony Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Was Edwards even on that list?
Nope.
Wasn't even on the list. So De'Aaron Fox ahead of Shai and Anthony Edwards. That's massive.
He would have been, but the league was mad because he took shots at the referees last night.
Right.
So they said, you're not going to be on the top list of top 15. What'd you think of that? He said, I'm going to get fined, but I don't care. It was like playing 8 on 5 last night.
Dude, he's one of the best interviews in the league. And I agreed with the his point on that last dunk that he had. Clearly got whacked on the arm. What's so crazy is the NBA's 2-minute report came out and they called that marginal contact. It's like, I'm tired of the 2-minute report, man. I'm done with it. It's ridiculous now. It's a joke.
It is. It really is. And there's just the inconsistency of officiating now is a real issue for the league. And I know it's a very difficult job, and I know there are some very good officials, but they're going to have to work with everybody to establish some kind of policy, because you watch the games and like, that was a foul a minute ago and it's not now. And that's bad for everybody.
And that's why our boy Mike Brown went off, right? You don't know what the rule is anymore. What's a foul? What's not a foul anymore?
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, is it too early for NBA scoreboard watching? Never. And the Kings may be making a move. That's next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
And get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try soon. Harry's is available online and in-store at a retailer near you. Get a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/news. That's harrys.com/news. Or check us out at your local Costco for a price you can't find anywhere else. Just look for the Chrome Razor with 13 blade refills at your local Costco. You can't miss it. Exclusive to Costco members.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
It wasn't pretty, but the Kings got the win last night in Memphis. And hey, what do you know? They've won 4 in a row all of a sudden. Are they making a move in the Western Conference? Drive Guys here. Kyle Draper's in Miami getting ready for the Kings and the Heat tomorrow night. Whitey Gleason in Sacramento. And as this road trip rolls on here, Kyle, first thing we need to point out is Miami Heat's not playing very well lately, are they?
Not at all. They've lost 7 in a row. And, you know, you listen to some of the quotes and sound bites that came out of practice today. Clearly, they're frustrated. I'm not sure what's going on. The Terry Rozier trade, which I loved, I think we all liked that trade, hasn't panned out yet. He hasn't found his stride yet, his fitting yet. And, I think when you look at this Miami Heat team, what they've lost just a little bit is some of that grit and grind that they're known for. One thing you could always, know about the Miami Heat is, they're going to play hard. They're going to bring it night in and night out, and maybe not so much these last week or two. And so with that being said, this is a tough game for Sacramento tomorrow because, Miami loses 7 in a row. I feel like they're going to come out fired up, breathing hot fire, desperate for a win. I think we'll see the best of Jimmy Butler tomorrow. And so this will be a tough test. You beat Memphis, that's fine and dandy. But I think this, if you can get this tomorrow, guarantee a winning road trip, I think this would be huge.
Yeah, it always makes me nervous to play a team on a losing streak, especially a team that we know is at least halfway decent, because obviously no team's going to lose forever. I'd almost rather play a team that's on a winning streak because they're going to lose eventually. That said, sets up nicely for the Kings. And as you look at the standings here, Kyle, Minnesota now is on top of the West by half a game over Denver, with the Thunder slipping. They're 1 back. Then the Clippers, 4th place, 2 back. But now the Kings with 4 straight wins. And I know you pointed this out earlier. Kings are 5 out in the West, but only 3 out of the 4th spot. So all of a sudden, I know it's early still, but things are starting to happen here for the Kings movement-wise in the conference.
It's unbelievable, man, what 9 days will do in the NBA, right? Like going into the Atlanta game, we're like, who are we going to trade? We need to get rid of this guy. We bring Jeremy Grant here now. We were talking play-in too.
I was.
Oh man.
Absolutely. Yeah,
you're
right.
Exactly. We're like, man, they're going to fall out and just be a play-in team. And now here you are, winners of 4 in a row, 3 back of the Clippers for that 4 seed as well. If it would start today, it would be you against the Clippers in the first round. And so, that's why I give some of the players, tons of credit, man, because we live in the roller coaster every single day with this team. The fan base, media that covers it, but they seem to be pretty even keeled through all this, through all the ups and downs. I think they understand how long of a season it is. And can you imagine if you're a player living on the roller coaster that we are? I mean, geez, it would be miserable, right? And so kudos to them, man. They've kept their cool and stayed even keeled through this. And there's still a lot of basketball left to be played.
Well, it appeared that perhaps all the trade talk was getting to a player or two. It appeared that the trade talk perhaps was having an adverse effect on the play of the team. Don't know for sure, but that would have made sense. And now it looks like things are stabilized. Do you think it's possible that the Kings feel, or maybe have shared with the players, that a major move does not appear as likely as it did? And maybe, I got foil hat on, conspiracy theory, but what do you make of that notion?
That's a great question, man, because I don't know.
Sure.
I remember saying earlier this season, a few weeks ago, that no matter what happens, the issues are still the issues. And I think what you're seeing from Sacramento, these are nice wins, 4 straight wins, yes, but are they a championship team yet? And I don't think they're at that point yet. And so ultimately, the goal is to build a champion. And so I think if I'm Monty McNair, if I'm Wes Wilcox and the guys, I'm not going to be swayed, by, 4 wins or 4 losses. Just look at the team, even at its best. How are they? How deep can they go? I think they can make a deep run. I think they could get to the Western Conference Finals. But if you see a move that you think can make you a contender or move you closer to that, I think you take it, no matter if you won 3 or lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's funny you said. I was watching last night. Philly was playing Portland, and I started getting that Jeremy Grant thing going again. Drapes. And I go back and forth, and I'm seeing Hammond, I'm seeing Brogdon, and I'm seeing, and they got Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah,
they got some pieces I could use, but there's no indication from them that they're willing to part with Jeremy Grant. Maybe that's all part of the game And on the other hand, it's like, well, wait a minute, the Kings are playing so well. So it's a confusing time. At least I knew or thought I knew a couple weeks ago that the Kings had to do something. Now I'm not sure.
Yeah, because they were on a trajectory that had them in the play-in at best. And so I understand, your feeling and my feeling like, if this, because we said it last week, Whitey. I said this 7-game road trip could make or break the Kings season.
You did.
And I meant that about, not only their standing in the Western Conference, but also the future of some of these guys in Sacramento. And so, I just think when you look at it, the way they've played these last 4 games, it's encouraging. It's taken some of the pressure off, maybe some of the, immediacy of doing the move. Maybe if you're Monte McNair, you know what? Maybe now you wait to the offseason to make the big splash that you were going to make. I just knew this thing was going downhill quickly. And if you're Monte, you got to do something to correct it. Now it's sort of stabilized again, and maybe you don't have as much of a rush like you were talking about to get something done.
Doesn't it feel like for the first time this season, over the last 5 to 10 games, it feels like, okay, there they are. That's the team that was so impressive last year, and it's primarily because the starters have played so well and have played together. And you got some new faces there, but it just seems like, okay, there they are. They were struggling so much to find that connectedness that they had last year.
Yeah. And, we talked yesterday about how the starting 5 was so critical last year. They were one of the best 5-man units in all of basketball last year. And this year, not so much. We've seen Keegan be up and down. We've seen Kevin Huerter up and down, Harrison Barnes. When you got 2 or 3 of your starters not playing at their highest level, that's not a good thing for a starting lineup. But that's been corrected here over these last 4 games. It started, in December with Keegan Murray playing better. Then Kevin Huerter started finding his shot. And now Harrison Barnes is flowing. And so you're right. Ultimately, we can talk about the 8th man. We could talk about Chris Duarte, Davion. But the starting 5 has to be good for this Sacramento Kings team. And fortunately, they've been pretty good over these last 4 games. But I'm with you on that, man. I think they're going to live and die by this starting unit and how good they can be. And, it's obviously a test for Barnes and Kevin Huerter. But we've seen them play at a high level. And I think they're going to be critical during these last, 40 games, 39 games or whatever.
We have this on the chat from Brandon Dietzman. Thank you, Brandon, for being with us. He says you also have to consider a trade not going the right way, which, of course, is absolutely true. That just a few weeks ago, for me, that wasn't a concern because I felt like you have to do something because things already are not going the right way. But now it just doesn't seem that way. And I think the biggest concern there is, bringing in someone who's going to disrupt your offense, and B, someone who's going to disrupt your offense in a way that's going to curb the development of Keegan Murray. I think those are your 2 biggest concerns when you talk about bringing someone in potentially.
Yeah, exactly. Because, by all accounts, the locker room is strong. It's good. Guys like each other. No malcontents, really. No outcasts, no disruptors or anything like that. And, one thing Mike Brown talked about before the game, I asked him about his team's offense. Being top 5 in the NBA over the last 5 games, number 3 in terms of offensive rating over the last 5 games. And he said, well, I'm sure, me settling in on a rotation and not messing with the rotation as much has helped too. And so I feel like for the first time this season, we know what the rotation is with this Sacramento Kings. And now if you go out there and bring in a Kyle Kuzma or somebody like that, and I don't know if you saw this, I forget which betting site it was. It had odds for the Kyle Kuzma's next team, and the Sacramento Kings were the favorites to land Kyle Kuzma. I forget the betting site.
I'm betting against that.
I know. Me too. I don't want Kuz. I like Kuz. He's fun. He's a good player. But like you said, the development of Keegan Murray is so key. The chemistry is so key to this team. And so I don't want to mess it up.
It's a chicken and the egg thing, pardon me, as far as the rotation. And Mike Brown publicly is very, he's self-effacing. But I really think that it took him this long to figure out who he could trust. And there's a couple guys that aren't playing much that it was clear Coach was hoping they'd play better. Coach wanted to see more out of them and wanted them to get to a point where he had to play them, and it didn't happen. And now we're to a point now where we got 4, maybe 5 guys with Sasha still, I think, on the ends with the coach. But I think that was part of the process. Yeah, the coach could say, well, it's my fault I didn't settle on a rotation. That's because there was so much inconsistency from guys that the Kings were hoping to get more from this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, and whether it was our guy Chris Duarte, Sasha, we were hoping to get a lot more from Davion early to start this season. And so, Mike Brown, we can get on him all we want about the rotation and everything, but we've talked about it all season long. Guys have to earn that spot, and nobody really jumped out there and grabbed that spot that in the rotation on the bench other than Malik Monk. And so, JaVale McGee, I thought showed some things last night. But, one thing too, Whitey, we got to remember too. There's a reason why bench guys are on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're not consistent. If you play consistently at a high level, you'd probably be a starter somewhere. When you look at the bench, sure, you would like to have 3 or 4 guys that you knew what you were going to get every single night. But I'm hoping for 2 guys. Malik Monk and somebody else, And so I think, what we're seeing here lately, and I got to give my boy Davion a shout out. Davion, I think, is playing extremely well right now, doing what's asked of him in a small amount of time. He's not coming out there and being no 6 man of the year candidate or anything like that, but he's playing solid defense, knocking down open threes. And so I think you do now have a rotation. And if you want to include Sasha in that, when he comes back, I'm okay with that. Now you're talking about a 10-man deep rotation that I'm very comfortable with.
And I love seeing Davion playing so well because he's one of your own recent high draft picks, and you're getting value out of him. That just means that things are running efficiently. And maybe he's being showcased. I don't know, but I'm with you. I love the way he's playing. You did, and I'm with you, but maybe you didn't mean to, but you opened the door to that conversation again that so many Kings fans want to have, which is, why isn't Malik Monk starting? Now, I know, and but there are a lot of fans because you talked
People
about
aren't saying that now, are they? Are they still saying that?
People are always going to say that.
Do we have, we should do a monthly class on why Malik Monk's not starting, like a monthly show. Just, we're going to put out the flyers and say, all right, on January 30th, we're going to have this discussion. On February 28th, we're going to, if you missed it then, come by then, because it's clear why Malik Monk isn't starting. First of all, Kevin Huerter's balling right now. Second of all, Malik Monk's value, sometimes it's, you put Malik Monk in with the starters, his value, his impact isn't as great. Now he comes in off the bench, raring to go, and what he gives you off the bench, Tommy Heinsohn, and I bring this up all the time, the great Tommy Heinsohn said, yes, sir. He said the role of the 6th man is one of 2 things. One, to keep the momentum by what the starters have going, or 2, if the starters are flat, give you that boost, give you that energy to change things. And if we put Malik Monk in that starting lineup, then who's our game changer? Who's our weapon when the starters don't have it flowing? Who can we turn to? And so Malik is that game changer that can come in and instantly impact the game and change the flow of it.
I'm with you. I went to the seminar. I have the certificate. I know exactly. I know what you're talking about.
You graduated from that class.
Yes. I can prove it. Splash Brothers' name pops up in today's NBA trade talk, and Kyle Draper's personal friend Kevin O'Connor says it may be time for one of the NBA's big-name teams to trade a guy that I didn't think we'd be talking about before the trade deadline. That's next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Hey, Mark, remember, getting help from Progressive is so easy. You can use the mobile app, chat with us online, or call us.
And you pick now to tell me.
I couldn't miss little Grace's ballet recital. Oh, thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Did I?
Because you know I'm always here for you.
Yeah. I can use the mobile app if I need help. Sorry, you're in my wife's seat, though.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go anyway. Tell Grace she nailed her chassé.
Get the help you need from Progressive with our mobile app, online chat, or over the phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Thanks for being with us. Going to talk NBA trades. There are some names popping up that I didn't expect we'd necessarily be talking about here. Drapes in Miami, Whitey here in Sacramento. Before we get to that, Kyle, I wanted to update you and everyone on our efforts to make sure we get a Patrick Mahomes jersey that Simone can put on Henrietta, her skeleton. Here's Simone with an update on how those efforts are coming along.
It's not going well. I have a roommate who is a really big Patrick Mahomes fan, and he's not parting ways with that jersey. So I have a challenge for the next 2 weeks to remove it and secure it onto Henrietta.
Well, clearly he's not wearing it all the time, right?
That's true.
And clearly there are times when you're there and he's not. So clearly you have access to the jersey.
I'll get it. I'll get it done. I'll take a picture.
Hey, and Simone, if you don't get the Patrick Mahomes jersey, I have a Brock Purdy jersey I can give you just in case. I'm just saying, just in case you can't get the Mahomes jersey, I can give you a Brock Purdy jersey.
Thank you. You're so sweet, but I think we'll be okay. Thank you.
Funny, all right. Good luck with that, Simone.
Thank you.
Yeah. We know it works though, right? I mean, it's
proven.
Yeah.
Tested.
The jinx, maybe it's an outright curse of Henrietta, Simone's skeleton. Anyway, back to the NBA. We had this from Shams on Run It Back, the podcast. Quote, talking about the Warriors. They're going to take calls on Andrew Wiggins, Chris Paul, and could they get interest on a guy even like Klay Thompson? I think those are very much open conversations for the Warriors. They have to be open-minded. This is a team that's 5 games under 500 in that 12th spot, so we'll see if there's going to be any moves over the next 10 days, end quote. First of all, Drapes, I know we've talked a lot about Wiggins, but are you surprised at all that the Warriors may have gotten to that point now with Klay Thompson?
I'm shocked because that's Steph Curry's right-hand man. And, you know, I just can't see the Splash Brothers being broken up. And what are you actually getting back in return for Klay Thompson that's going to help you now? And I talked about the piece that Anthony Slater wrote in The Athletic. It's like the Warriors are in a tough position because any asset they trade, it's not necessarily going to help them move them closer this year. I mean, what are you going to get back for Klay Thompson? You're not going to get back Zach LaVine or any upper level high rotation player. And here's the problem too with the Warriors, reading that article today, and tell me if you agree with this, Whitey, and people out there listening. The Warriors don't have a depth problem. They have an upper level talent problem. Like outside of Steph, it goes from Steph and then it drops down tremendously. Think about it. If you match the Warriors up with the Kings again, let's say we'd say Steph Curry's number one. I could argue the next 2 or 3 players would come from this Kings team, And when you look at the Warriors, it's like that whoever they face up against. If they play the Clippers, it's Steph, and then it's like 3 or 4 Clippers. If they play the Lakers, same thing. And so the Warriors have a not a 5, 6, 7 player problem. They need a 2 and a 3 that can play alongside Steph Curry. And I don't think Klay Thompson can get you that. And you look at the fact that Klay is owed what, $40 million, something crazy like that.
43 this year.
Come on, $43 million. The rest of this season, it just doesn't behoove a team to bring on that, because like I said, what are you getting back for the Warriors?
Well,
maybe a late first round pick.
Mm-hmm,
I don't think you can get anything that moves the needle this year for them.
You know how it is, though. Clay can be a free agent, and the Warriors I think they offered him 43 over 2, and apparently he's not crazy about that. My point is, if the Warriors feel like he wants more money than we want to give him next year, then they may feel like we have to part with him now because we're going to lose him for nothing. So maybe they would be willing to take less than they normally would have. On the other hand, he means so much to your franchise, and he's an icon, and he's won championships, so that's a tough sell. But to your point about the depth, I thought you phrased that. I agree with the way you phrased it. You got Kuminga, you got Wiggins. Like, those are two pretty good players, but Wiggins is underperforming, and they don't seem to play well together. And then, Chris Paul's been hurt. Chris Paul and Clay, at the end of games, they have not been good at all. Draymond, who knows? So it's really a mess there. I think bottom line for them, Drapes, I think for them, what they're trying to do as an organization is figure out how to maximize however many years they have left with Steph. And they just don't feel like, hey, if we're not going anywhere this year, we can't afford to just, okay. We got to do everything we can to make the most of our limited time we have left with Steph Curry.
And that's how they should, right? They should, like you said, try to maximize whatever they have from Steph Curry. I mean, Steph is still a top 10 player in this league. He still can be the best player on a championship team, but he needs some help right now.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the roster that they have, what's their most desirable assets? Probably Kuminga. Well, they don't want to trade him. Kuminga might be able to net you back somebody that'll help you right now, but I doubt they want to trade him. And so they're in a conundrum, man. It is, I don't envy Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the job he has to do, because you're good enough to make the playoffs / play in, but you're not good enough to win it. But you're not bad enough to bottom out either. It's like, and you have this superstar. And so this might be a situation too, where you look at Golden State, and we've talked about it, comparing it to the Chicago Bulls of the late 90s, the Michael Jordan Bulls. They decided to break it up. This franchise, talking about Golden State, might decide to just keep it together and then just let her peter out, and then really have to hit the reset button after that.
Well, you've seen the numbers. The Warriors play more close games than just about anybody in the league, which at first blush, like, well, that's a good sign. But they lose almost all of them. You lose a close game or two, it's like, the ball's not bouncing our way. But when you continue to lose close game after close game after close game after close game, you realize, all right, there's something wrong with us. We're not good enough to win these games. And that's where they are right now.
Yeah, and the fact that they're an experienced team, a veteran team, and they still lose these close games, it's like something's wrong. Something's off kilter. You would think with Steph, Clay, Draymond, 3 guys who have been there before, Chris Paul, when he comes back and is healthy, you would be a sure-handed team in the clutch, and they just don't get it done. Looking at that Lakers game, like, they delivered some haymakers. They had some big shots. The Lakers almost even tried to give that game away. They leave Steph Curry open with the top of the key 3, and yet the Warriors still found a way to lose that game. And so they may just be destined to be a play-in team, one and done, and get out of there. And, they don't have any draft picks. They don't have their draft pick coming up. I think this year's is top 4 protected or something like that. And so if it's top 4, then they could get it. But, the odds of that happening are slim and none. And so they're in a pickle, man. I don't know what they do. Like the Pascal Siakam move, if they could have made the most sense to me, but they struck out on him. And I don't know who they turn to now.
Meanwhile, you mentioned the Lakers. Your friend Kevin O'Connor in the Ringer today, he says, and he kind of couches it, I think he says, boy, I don't know if this would happen, but he says, in his opinion, the Lakers should consider trading LeBron James before the deadline. He says they don't know if he's going to be back. He says even Windhorst, who is usually pretty plugged into the LeBron camp, is indicating that it's not a sure thing LeBron's going to be back. And the same thing we were just talking about with the Warriors and Clay. Kevin O'Connor says, if you think you're going to lose him, you might have to move on from him. But then he also says he doesn't think that'll happen. But I just didn't think we'd be talking about LeBron at the deadline in any way, shape, or form, Kyle.
Not at all. And it's not going to happen because what people don't understand is LeBron is not only impactful when it comes to wins and losses, but also box office. Remember, the Lakers, in between the Kobe years and those early years of LeBron, it was miserable. Like they were awful. And so I don't know what you're trading LeBron James for at this age, age 39 or whatever. What are you going to get from him? And so, if I'm the Lakers, I don't think the Lakers are that far off. Remember, they made the Western Conference Finals last year. Denver mollywopped them, of course, and smoked them, no doubt about it. But I don't think the Lakers are that far off, to be honest. If they could somehow get a DeJounte Murray, if they could somehow go out there and get a player of that ilk, I think that, they'd be a tough out because I always feel like LeBron and AD, they're going to raise their play come playoff time. And so outside of Denver, like, who are you picking against the Lakers? Do you think the Lakers could beat Minnesota? I think they could in a playoff series. Do you think they could beat Oklahoma City? I think they could. Maybe not the Clippers. The Clippers are tough, but maybe they could. And so I don't think the Lakers are that far off from making a run.
I just think the problem that they face is similar to what the Warriors have, which is we're going to build around these two guys, AD and LeBron, and then as their games decline a little bit, they're both legitimate all-stars, but as they decline a little bit year by year, it's harder and harder to prop them up. And I think, they did it last year at the deadline. They made some really smart trades, and they revitalized the season. But now this year they're looking at the same situation again, and they don't have the assets. So it just happens. It's inevitable. When you have an old team, it's tough without tearing it down to stay relevant. We will check in with Brendan Nunes, our Sactown Sports Kings insider. What's he hearing about the Kings at the deadline? We'll find out from Brendan next year. Drive Guys rolling on Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
The ball over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox. The breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Grab the keys to a new fuel-efficient Toyota. Head into the new year with more peace of mind and Toyota's legendary reliability. Get to your local Toyota dealer today and shop Toyota's entire lineup of 16 hybrid and electrified vehicles to choose from. Right now, get low 1.99% APR plus $2,500 bonus cash on the all-electric 2023 BC4X. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium-ready credit ends 1/31/24.
If you think getting hurt in an accident is bad, wait until you deal with the aftermath. Even what seems like a small accident can have devastating consequences to your health, employment, finances, and family. All this can be avoided by getting the right help and calling the Scranton Law Firm. Since 1973, we've collected $500 million for our clients and helped thousands of people just like you. Call us at 1-800-707-0707 or ScrantonLawFirm.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo, with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Plus line dancing, a mechanical bull, and Sacramento's best food trucks. One-day tickets are on sale now, starting at $46, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more info, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Hobler Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain, very intense. It can make your eyes water. It makes you walk funny because you're trying to get pressure off your heel. I had instability. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And I was driving past the Good Feet store. I mean, why not? Give it a try.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure they fitted me with the right thing. And so they brought out several different arch supports and gave me the opportunity to try them in shoes and walk around with them until they found the perfect ones for my feet. I had no idea that they would be that patient, and I had no idea they would be that kind. And you just knew, like, your feet, just when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. And it really did make a big difference. It made my foot not hurt. I'm Teresa, and that's my good feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
On the putting green, when someone doesn't get their putt to the hole, someone else is bound to say, "Hit it, Alice." But who is Alice, and what did she do to get immortalized in a golf insult? Well, it turns out that Alice isn't a she, Alice is a he. It's Alice as in the late Peter Alice, the famous English golf broadcaster. He was a pretty good touring professional, and at the 1963 Ryder Cup, Alice played Arnold Palmer and Tony Lima, having with Lima and beating Palmer. At some point in that match, Alice, for whom putting was not a strength, badly missed a 3-foot putt. Someone in the gallery yelled out, "Nice putt, Alice." Alice explained that the BBC, where he did golf commentary, played a large part in burning the phrase into public consciousness. "I was never renowned for putting," he explained, "therefore I was an easy target for British comedy programs." Alice later gave golf lessons to Sean Connery for his match as James Bond in Goldfinger. So the next time you utter, "Hit it, Alice," just remember Peter Alice. May he rest in peace. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Before we get to Brendan, I just got to say, Kyle, Drapes is in Miami today. The guy that you call the instigator, Crown Royal, on the chat, he just posted some here, and it caught my eye, and I probably should just, move on. But he was talking about Scottie Pippen Jr. He says, bruh, I'd legally change my name if I was Pippen Jr. That's so embarrassing. And I was never the biggest Bulls fan, but I don't think I'd be ashamed if I was Scottie Pippen Jr.
Oh, I can add context because of the Larsa Marcus Jordan of it all.
Okay.
I
got you. Here I am thinking just the basketball.
Yeah, right.
Which, of course, I'm super well versed in. That's one of my specialties around here. But
Gotcha. All right.
Bigger and better.
All right. Thank you, Crown Royal. Thank you, Simone. Right now, nice enough to join us, our SactownSports.com Kings insider, Brendan Nunes. How are you, Brendan? What do you make of this Kings hot streak?
I'm doing great, guys. And yeah, I mean, the Kings are obviously playing well, 4 in a row. And I think they've looked a little closer to last year more recently than we've seen for most of this season, really.
Brendan, I'm watching the game, obviously, doing the game last night. Memphis comes out on fire. Kings can't hit the side of a barn, 3 of 19 from 3 first half. But yet they were only down by 3 at the half. They had the 19 turnovers, but yet they figured out a way. How do you look at last night's game? Are you frustrated, disappointed, or did you see some things that were encouraging?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that frustrating start. Memphis had 33 points in that first quarter, 48% from the field. They made 7 threes, and some of those are from guys that, like Mike Brown admitted post-game. Santi Aldama, for example, wasn't somebody they had labeled hot, a guy you needed to close out hard on. And then, when he hits 3 in the first quarter, they kind of changed their coverage, and they did the same thing later with their backup center, Matthew Hurt, who was playing in his first NBA game. So they made some adjustments, but after that first quarter, where Memphis puts up 33, they only have 61 the rest of the game on 32% from the field. So I think it's encouraging. You definitely have to take something from the sloppy start. You don't like seeing that, but there's 36 minutes of really good defense and then the first 12 of not so much. So I kind of tend to roll with the larger sample.
It's funny, at one point, I'm sure you guys saw this, Matt Hurt comes out of the game. I think it was later in the game, and he was just so happy. his big smile on his face because he scored 10 points in his first NBA game. Probably he didn't have much of an idea that he'd even be playing in that game. So that was kind of cool to see. But Brendan, do you think Domas is switching gears a little bit? Do you think Domas is going to make the All-Star team? What's your best guess?
I do think so. I actually think he has better odds than De'Aaron. And some of that has to do with just the competition that he's up against. I think the guards are a little bit more convoluted. There's kind of just a deeper pool of guards in the West. And, one less spot in that starting lineup, too. So I think Domas has pretty good odds. And after starters, which obviously he won't make, it comes down to coach vote. And I think he's the type of player that coaches really respect his game and all the little nuance and details that he brings on a nightly basis.
Brendan Nunes joining us. Brendan, I think coaches had to submit their ballots by Monday. When you talk about Domas, I agree with you. I think to me, he's a no-brainer. What about De'Aaron Fox? Has his play the last month or so hurt his case? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it definitely has. There's no denying that. I think that there's also just a lot of really good players. Like SGA is up there. Obviously, Luka, those are the starters. You still got Steph, still in that conversation. There's still James Harden, Jamal Murray, Anthony Edwards. There's just a lot of guys to compete with here. So I think he's definitely going to be part of that conversation. But, the recent play has hurt. If he was still flirting a little closer to that 30 per game number, I think it would definitely help. But he's got a good case. I just think that it's going to be a harder path with all the other competition.
Brendan, a couple weeks ago, if someone had asked me if the Kings needed to make a trade, I would have said they desperately need to do something. Now, if you ask me, I'd say, well, the right move might be nice. I don't know why, but the Kings, they look like the Kings again. What happened? Did somebody flip a switch? Is it Barnes being more involved in the offense? Why do the Kings look like last year's Kings again all of a sudden?
Yeah, it's a little hard to pin down specifically, and I'm curious to hear your take on it too, Drapes. But I think that they have reverted to a little bit of some of the older stuff they did. They are getting Harrison Barnes involved a little bit more, which has meant less shots for Keegan Murray, which is a give and take, I think, when it comes to the long-term progress of this team. But it's obviously helped in the short term here. And also kind of gone back to what their original plan was when it comes to the rotation with Davion Mitchell at that backup one, JaVale McGee, and just rolling with really their initial game plan. I think that they could get caught up a little too much in hunting mismatches this year, which is something they emphasized coming into the season. But maybe sometimes that would take you out of your rhythm a bit. So I think they've kind of just resorted a little bit to some previous things. And also the play of some of these guys was just bound to even out at some point.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brendan. And Mike Brown talked about it pregame, just, shortening the rotation, not tinkering with it as much. And whatever happened after that, 3 days off, this looks like an entirely different team. Do you think this play as of late will impact Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox and those guys' moves at the trade deadline?
I don't think so. I don't think this is all too surprising to them. And I don't think that they probably internally would be overreacting to that little slump that they had either. So I don't think it necessarily does. And I'll say, I think that they had this confidence even coming off of those Phoenix and Milwaukee games. They know that they blew the lead late, but they were playing really well. And I think that we know as this roster is currently constructed that they could, maybe win a series. But if we're talking about eventual title, that this team is still steps away. And so I think the front office will still look for those potential moves, but shouldn't need to feel rushed to make them if there's not the right one.
Brendan, I think that's a great point you raised about how the offense now, maybe they got a little too caught up in seeking mismatches. Because to me, this offense and versions of it, when it's functioning at its highest level, it's about seeking good shots rather than mismatches. So that said, given the fact that the offense is functioning at a higher level now, do you think, and I may have asked you this last week, do you think HB just all of a sudden got on a roll and they said, hey, look at that, let's give him the ball more? Or do you think this was by design? At some point, somebody sat down and said, look, we have to play more like this and have to have a more even shot distribution, pardon me.
Yeah, I mean, it can't just be a coincidence,
No,
right?
right, thank you.
I think that there's been a mutual. Harrison has raised his aggression, but then he's also getting a couple more play calls for him, and I think that's just kind of being an option in a play call. It's just a slight switch on where you're starting and their sort of freelance flow, and he's taking advantage of it. But you have 20 shots, obviously, in that Atlanta game, 24 against Golden State, 11 against Dallas, 15 against Memphis, and 2 of 10 from 3. Even though he's not getting them to go down, I feel great every time he gets them up. He's going to end every season around 38 to 40% from 3. So I think that there has been a more concerted effort from the coaching staff to get him involved, and that leads to an increased aggressive mindset from him.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brendan. I loved the fact that he got up 15 shots last night, 10 of those threes. Now they got the Miami Heat tomorrow night. Losers of 7 in a row. What's going on with Miami, and handicap this matchup tomorrow? What's it going to take to get the W?
Yeah, Miami still obviously got some good defense. You know that they're going to play hard no matter who's out there. And, you know, after how close that Memphis game was, that could be a little bit concerning sometimes coming from the Kings' perspective. But Miami doesn't have great playmaking, I think, is a big thing. You want to really try to turn them over if you can and get out in transition running against them, and also do the same of limiting your contributions to that. Like, not the Kings not having any turnovers that lead to easy Miami buckets for an offense that really struggles in the half court, and you could force into maybe some tougher shots. So I think keeping the profile of who's hot and who's not will be pretty important against them, and just can't give them any freebies with turnovers, really.
All right, for excellent Kings coverage, check them out, SactownSports.com. One of our outstanding Kings insiders, Brendan Nunes. Thanks, Brendan. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. Pretty soon we'll be back at the Golden One having hot dogs with mayonnaise on them, of course.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. And go Niners.
There you go. Boy.
That's a
boy.
shot at me, though.
In.
If I was a Niners fan, he wouldn't say that. He would not say that. I see how it is.
That's not a shot at you. That's what everyone's saying these days, because the whole region is caught up in this Super Bowl fever, Kyle. Come on. You don't have to take that personally. You think that was a shot at you?
Of course it is. That's all we do here. You, Jay, Brendan, Simone, Emil. I mean, the list can go on.
What?
The only one that I feel close to is my guy, Kyle Ledbetter, because he's the only non-Niners fan. Kyle Ledbetter. That's right, Simone. Kyle Ledbetter. I said his name.
Are you borrowing his jersey next week?
That's the guy that we got to get the jersey from.
Right?
To put on
That's why I can't find it at my house. It's already at Kyle Drapers.
Man. All right.
I'll give you my Brock Purdy jersey if he gives me his Mahomes jersey.
Don't need to think. By the way, speaking of jerseys, you know the 49ers going to wear white and the Chiefs are going to wear red, and that's what they wore last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl. Don't like that. Don't like that one bit. Yeah, don't care for that. But when we come back, here's a question. Maybe Kyle Draper can answer this. Why don't the Kings get to the foul line more often?
Ooh.
Next on Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings road trip continues Wednesday in South Beach.
Herder with a wraparound, and Sabonis rips it down for a 20-20 game.
It's the Kings and the Heat.
Wednesday at 4:30 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
At Elk Grove Kia, we get it. Life happens. We believe in second chances. Have repos, late payments, or faced bankruptcy? No problem. Our finance department is top-notch and ready to make miracles happen. No need to worry about money down. At Elk Grove Kia, you can drive away today with $0 out of pocket. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance to drive the car of your dreams is just a visit away. Elk Grove Kia, where we turn obstacles into opportunities. Dare to drive differently.
Elk Grove Kia.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's. So thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try soon. Harry's is available online and in-store at a retailer near you. Get a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/news. That's harrys.com/news. Or check us out at your local Costco for a price you can't find anywhere else. Just look for the Chrome Razor with 13 blade refills at your local Costco. You can't miss it. Exclusive to Costco members.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Drive Guys here with Kylie in Miami, Whitey in Sacramento, and I'm just looking at the box score from last night, and I can look at this box score without fear because Kyle Draper is not here to take my box score away. When he's here, I got to be careful. I got to hold it over here so he can't get to it. But anyway, yeah, maybe I get caught up in box scores a little too much. I don't think so. But here's the thing, Kyle. Last night, the Kings, they win by 9. They got to the foul line 10 times against the Memphis Grizzlies. They only made 6, and I know that's a whole different thing. But I'm not even talking about the percentage, just how many times they get to the line. The Kings are 20th in the NBA in free throw attempts. Why is that, Kyle? Is that something that should be higher? Would they like that number to be higher?
Yeah, I think so. I think, any good team, you want to get to the free throw line as much as possible. And the fact that only 10 last night, and all of them by De'Aaron Fox, mind you. De'Aaron Fox is the only one that took free throws last night for the Sacramento Kings. Check your box score, Whitey. You got it right there.
I have it right here. It's incredible. That's incredible.
I do think that's a concern for this team. I mean, when you look at it, they live, rely heavily on the three-point shot, and so outside of De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, who really plays on the interior, who really takes it to the rack, who really takes it into the paint. And so, Kevin Huerter doesn't, Malik doesn't, Trey Lyles doesn't really to an extent. And so I would imagine they'd like to get some more free throws. But the concerning number, for me, not only as a team they're not shooting, Domantas Sabonis only has 2 free throws over the last 3 games, Whitey. Wow. He didn't have any last night. The previous game he had 2, and then the game before that he had 0. This is a guy who lives in the paint, who, thrives in the paint, who takes a lot of contact in the paint. And 10 on the text line says Domas takes it very soft to the rack, therefore drawing less than likely fouls called to save his energy. I disagree with that. Every time I feel like Domas is in the paint, he's got 2 or 3 guys around him. And so I'd like to see him get a little more respect and get to the line a little more this season.
First of all, do you know how happy it makes me, almost giddy, to hear you talking about, free throw attempts and box score things? It's great. I love it when it's awesome.
Yeah, you're driving the show, man.
Yeah.
Anything you like, I don't have. Here's my box. I do have a box score around here somewhere. I just ball it up for you right now, just for old time's sake.
But I do. I was thinking about that last night. Why do they shoot so few free throws? And then last year they were 7th in attempts. This year they're 20th, but last year only 6th most 3-point attempts. So that's a big part of it, right? As they just shoot so many threes. You're on the perimeter. They're 3rd in attempts this year, 3-point attempts. You're just not going to get the calls when you're standing 25 feet from the basket.
And here's the deal. And I'm gonna do this exercise, Whitey. I have not looked at the numbers. I got them up in front of me. Here are the top teams in terms of 3-point attempts: Boston, Dallas, Sac, Golden State, and Memphis. Those are the 5 teams that take the most 3-pointers. Remember those names: Boston, Dallas, Sacramento, Golden State, and Memphis.
Mhm.
Now let's look at where they rank when it comes to free throw attempts. Dallas is 10th,
Mhm.
Warriors 15th,
Mhm.
Celtics 18th, Sacramento 20th, Memphis 25th. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
the top 5 teams that shoot threes, they're 10 and below when it comes to free throws. I mean, it just is what it is, Meanwhile, when you look at a team, let's say like Milwaukee, who they don't shoot a lot of threes. Well, they're 8th in threes. I'm going to go to the bottom here.
Sure.
The Lakers, 30th in threes attempted, but 7th in free throws. I mean, it's sort of an inverse triangle here. Like, if you take all those threes, it's hard to get the whistles.
Right. But I think there's more at work than just that. And I would agree
All
that
right.
yeah, you're right. You've uncovered some key evidence here. But this was from the Lakers broadcast last night. This is Bill McDonald, Laker announcer. He says of the Lakers, quote, "The Lakers have shot 233 more free throws than their opponents, far and away ahead of the second place team, the Knicks. Oddly," he said, "the Lakers are dead last in drives to the basket." My theory is that, okay, yes, standing out, shooting a lot of threes has a lot to do with it, but I still think that the Lakers are going to get more calls than the Sacramento Kings. And I just think that's the nature. I don't think it's a conspiracy, but I think big market teams with big name stars are going to get more calls than the Kings, at least at this point. Maybe if the Kings continue to make the playoffs for a few years, maybe they start to get a few more calls. But as you mentioned, we've all seen it with Domas. And maybe it's because he's smaller and he doesn't get the benefit that a bigger guy would get. I don't know, but it's ridiculous how seldom he gets to the foul line sometimes. Don't you think?
No, I'm with you. Only 2 free throws in the last 3 games total for Domantas Sabonis. When you look at it this year, 4.9 free throws. That would tie his fewest since he had 4.8 back in 2020. It just doesn't make sense to me. This guy, lives in the paint, dies in the paint, doesn't shoot outside a whole lot, is very physical, inside. And you're talking about a 3-time All-Star, All-NBA guy who doesn't get the whistle. To the Lakers' point, and they're dead last in drives, but one of the things the Lakers do extremely well and a high volume of, their cuts to the basket, I would argue, is higher than, they play from either the block or from the elbow. And, when you look at their cuts to the basket, I think that's where a lot of their fouls are coming from. That's just, what I see when I watch them. I haven't looked at the numbers or anything like that.
Yeah. Then it's interesting. Last night we had Anthony Edwards, who is one of the young superstars on the rise. And he just said, yeah, I'm going to get fined, but it was 8 on 5. We just weren't getting any calls last night. And they won that game, right? So I think a lot of it is the inconsistency. And I'll bet you every team in the league, we've even heard the Lakers complain at times about calls. I'll bet you every team in the league, if you asked them, would say, we don't get the calls. It's kind of like in baseball. If you ask pitchers, does it ever even up? Guys hitting line drives, sometimes they get outs, or guys hit, little bleeders in their hits. And the pitchers think it always goes towards the hitter, and the hitters say it always favors the pitcher. So it's just kind of human nature. We never get the calls. Everybody thinks that.
Every team, and that's why officiating is a thankless job, because nobody's going to be happy. Nobody's going to come out and say, man, those officials, they were excellent tonight. They did a fantastic. We only notice the officials when something doesn't go our team's way.
Yeah, but as far as the Kings and the offense not being as efficient as last year, if I'm looking at why, that could be one of the reasons, right? Not only not making free throws, but not getting as many free throws going forward. Maybe that's something here they need to be more aware of and focus. We need to get to the line more, and we're going to score more points, easier points that way.
Yeah, and you know what? What's interesting as we have this discussion, and I want to hear your take on this. One thing the Kings don't do, they don't have a lot of floppers, guys that sell fouls too. Like, that's part of it too. You know, you look at a guy like Joel Embiid, who I love. I'm a huge Joel Embiid fan, Philly guy, obviously. But you touch him, and he's making the officials notice it.
The Philly flopper.
The Philly flopper. You could call him that. He's embellishing. He's drawing attention to it. Our guys, you know, we don't embellish that much. And I'm not saying we should, but I think that's part of it also. And, you know, the NBA Refs Association, they put out an interesting Twitter video. And yes, I'm back on Twitter for people at home. They were wondering.
We have been wondering.
They probably thought, Drapes, I thought you deleted social media. But I got back on just for work purposes only, of course. But they put out a video 2 hours ago. Listen to this. And it's from Tyler Ford, the NBA referee. It says, traveling can be one of the toughest calls for an NBA ref, as players are constantly inventing new moves based on the rules. I just want to highlight that part. These players are so good at selling, embellishing. They're part-time actors, you know, so they're Oscar Award winners with some of the way that they're selling these fouls, and some of the officials, they're falling for it. LeBron James, I'm a huge LeBron fan, but he embellishes also. And I don't know if our guys need to take a page out of that book, but it's something that could cost you games.
Wow.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah, that's funny. At the place where Vlade used to play, and we're saying, you guys need to maybe flop more, sell the calls more. It's a good point. I mean, I hope they don't. I understand the upside, but I do appreciate. I hadn't realized that, but I really appreciate that about this team. You don't have any flopping fools on this team. I applaud them.
Right, that's a good thing, right? Those are the guys we could be proud of. We could be proud of.
Yeah, I remember one of my daughters was going to a basketball camp. What are you doing today, or what are you doing tomorrow? She's, they said they're going to teach us flopping tomorrow. I said, well, you're not going back to that camp.
Is that a true story?
Yes. Yeah.
No
except
way.
for I did let her go, but I think.
Of course. Did you ask her for some tips? What did they teach you, hon? Show me how to do it.
Yeah. It's like, that's what they're teaching you at basketball camp? You got to be kidding me.
It would not surprise me to hear of NBA teams trying to, you know, not necessarily teach their guys how to embellish or sell a call, but maybe encouraging it. Because it's such a big part of the NBA now. It's not only embellishing, but you got to sell the call.
I think the Joker's really good at it. He exaggerates the contact, but when there's real contact, and he has a way, Simone just did one, and it kind of includes, he always like snaps his head back. So it's almost, he acts like he didn't even know it was coming. Like, where'd that come from? He's really good at it.
He's excellent at it. You're 100% right. Yes.
When we come back, Dan Campbell, coach of the Lions, is he excellent at coaching? I don't know. He admits he made a mistake. Probably not the one you're thinking, though. We're right back with that as we continue our Super Bowl conversation, Kyle. Yeah. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Seriously?
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo, with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Plus line dancing, a mechanical bull, and Sacramento's best food trucks. One-day tickets are on sale now, starting at $46, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more info, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Hobler Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
Hey, everybody, it's Kyle Draper, your boy Drapes, once again, for the fine people of Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I know you hear me raving all the time about my new EQS SUV they outfitted me with. It's the most stunning vehicle I've ever driven, hands down, no questions. I got news for you, though. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton also has a full-service commercial fleet center. So if you run a business, head on down there right now. They have a huge selection of rugged Mercedes cargo vans, and interest rates are as low as 4.9% on 2023 model year vans. Outfitting your company with Mercedes vans is just smart business. And get this, you can also get substantial IRS tax breaks on your new Sprinter van. Of course, some restrictions apply. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is such an elegant car or van shopping experience. Every customer is a VIP. They'll treat you that way as well. It's right there in North Stockton, right off of I-5, a half-hour drive from Sacramento, or of course online at mbfstockton.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
And local sports right now means we're getting ready for the Super Bowl between the San Francisco 49ers and whoever.
Jay must be back. Jay must be back.
Man, don't be trying to spot up on me now, brother.
Jay been quiet all afternoon. So he come back in. He bang bang Niner gang. Oh, I knew it. Jay must be back.
Just trying to bask in the glory of Miami, man.
Oh man, you killing me, dude. I tell you what, I got to get out of this ballroom, man. I might have to take a segment off or something, dude. I feel like I'm trapped up in here. Ain't no windows. The lighting is awful. This is brutal right now.
Well, I know you don't want to leave this hour because coming up this hour, we're going to talk about what Jason Kidd said about Luka, comparing Luka to like MJ and Kobe and those guys. So I know you want to be participating in that conversation. Yeah. But for now, yes, Dan Campbell and the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell, and you were pretty tough on Coach Campbell, I thought yesterday, Kyle. You thought he kind of cost the Lions the ball game, huh?
Yeah, I think so. It's and that's the thing. As a coach, I understand you want to be true to who you are. This is what we do, but you have to be the adult in the room. You have to be the level-headed person in the room. And if you can't, like, there were several key plays, field goal decisions that, in my opinion, cost them the game or at least gave momentum to the 49ers team. And, you got to be better than that as the head coach.
Yeah, you know who agreed with you today? He did a lot of media today. The second greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, agreed with you. He said, "Yeah, I would have kicked the field goals there." But anyway, be that as it may, Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback of all time, of course. But all kidding aside, Dan Campbell today admitted that he made a mistake, but he didn't admit he made a mistake by kicking the field goal at the end of the first half or deciding to go for it twice in the second half instead of kicking a field goal. He said the mistake he made was running a running play on 3rd and goal when they were trying to score real quick and then get the ball back? Dan Campbell said, yeah, because they ran the ball and then they got stopped and then the clock is running. Dan Campbell said, yeah, look, the easy thing to do is throw it. Probably should have been the right thing, but for me, I wanted to run it. I thought we would just pop it. We just had run the 2-minute offense all the way down the field, throwing the football. They were in a 4-down front. I believe we'd walk right in, and we just missed a block. So then, I've got to use a timeout. Hindsight, throw it 4 times. But I believed in that moment it was going to be a walk and run. It didn't work out, so I gambled and lost, end quote. Remember, that game, the 49ers milked that clock right down to the last play of the game, taking a penalty, and then Brock Purdy backing up to expend the final second. So those were crucial seconds for the Lions in terms of what proved to be their inability to get the ball back at all after that touchdown.
Yeah, and that's like the one thing that I agree with Dan Campbell. That play, because they were talking about it on the broadcast too.
Yeah,
they're like, nah, you don't run it here because what if you get stopped and then you got to hustle back to the line and everything like that. And so he just made so many questionable decisions when the pressure, mounted the most. And that's why the great quarterbacks and the great coaches are great, that in the moments of tightness, when things get tense, they usually make the right call. And Dan Campbell, there's some people saying he should be fired for his play calling in that game, his decision making in that game. I'm not one of them, because if you fire him, then who you got? Dan Campbell is your culture. Like, if you get rid of him, who are you going to bring in to replace that and have a similar culture? And so, but this should be a learning lesson. This should be a lesson for him, something he takes away and learns from and comes back better next year. Because I don't know, if you're a player in that locker room, he's your coach, you live and die with him, you ride or die. But man, it's going to be an off season of what ifs for the Detroit Lions.
I can't believe that people would say should be fired. I've never been the biggest fan of him there, with all the we're going to bite your kneecaps off stuff, but obviously it worked. You have to give him some credit. And that was, you gotta, that's Campbell being Campbell. There's upside and downside. By the way, not to get too wonky, but some are suggesting that even though they ran the ball there, they still should not have taken the timeout, that they should have hurried up to the line of scrimmage, run the next play, and kept that timeout for when they needed it. But either way, it was a mistake to run the ball. Now, how about this? Kyle Shanahan was asked yesterday if there's an advantage to having a couple of gut check games. The past 2 weekends have been so tough for the Niners. They've underperformed in the first half. He says, he says, I always think when you go through stuff like this, it hardens you and prepares you for any situation. Are you buying that? Obviously, what's a coach going to say, but do you think that the 49ers benefit from the last 2 wins being as close and as difficult for them as they were?
I don't know if you can see me on the YouTube chat right now, but that's a 0 zilch nada. Because what Kyle Shanahan sounds like is me during the regular season with my Philadelphia Eagles. When I'm like, hey, as long as you get the win, it's hardening you. Every game's not going to be a blowout. You need these kind of, if I'm a Niners fan, Jay Johnson, if I'm a Niners fan, Whitey, I would be concerned about this defense, the defensive line specifically.
If you're a Niners fan, if you're a Niners fan, Jay is Taylor Swift, by the way, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Jay, he's sweating bullets back there, worrying about this defense, because the defense ain't all it's been cracked up to be. This is one of the highest paid defenses out there, and they just aren't getting it done. Like, they made Jared Goff in that first quarter, and they let Montgomery look like, Wilbert Montgomery from the Eagles back in the day, the way they were dicing up that defensive line. And so I would be a little concerned about the defense right now.
They did play well in the second half, and they had to, because that was a thing at halftime. I thought, I was telling this to the High Flyer yesterday. To me, football is more like basketball than it ever used to be. They're not the same, I know, but it's more like basketball than it used to be. It's more up and down, higher scoring. And so, it's like you got to score and you got to get stops. It's like basketball. And I thought, well, the 49ers cannot get any stops at halftime. How can you win when you're down 17 and you cannot get stops? But somehow they figured it out. It's interesting. Tim Kawakami today wrote that Fred Warner might have had as much to do with that as Steve Wilkes. I don't know. But there you go. The defense, you have to admit, my point is you have to admit the defense did play well in the second half. Right?
They have. They did.
Yeah.
But
They
I
played
will
okay.
Yeah, but let me say this. I think, and I can't be, I can't just be 49er Homer fan. The defense looks absolutely horrendous. They really do.
Yeah.
And it's the front line. And what you're saying, Drapes, and Simone behind my shoulder was saying that as you were saying that at the same time. One of my things is you have Javon Hargrave, who you paid $98 million to. You have Eric Armstead, who's sitting on $60-70 million. You have Nick Bosa. You have Chase Young, of course, who's supposed to be someone. Maybe you got him on the fly. You have Randy Gregory. Yeah, like there's guys that we have seen rotated throughout this year, and all we've heard from Steve Wilkes and the defensive line coach is we're saving them for when it happens, for when we need them. Well, there was no greater time than when Detroit was on the goal line 2 or 3 times, and I was looking and Javon Hargrave wasn't in the game, and Eric Armstead on 3rd and short wasn't in the game. I don't know what we're saving these guys for. Why are we paying these guys $200 million collectively if they're not even in the game, let alone trying to stop someone? And I think, Drapes, you're 100% correct where 1 or 2 mistakes against Pat Mahomes, as much as I hate to say it, because I'm really not a fan of Pat Mahomes, is a difference. Like it'll move, and we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen.
Yeah,
where you're up 10 and now you're down by 11, just that quick.
Jet chip wasp.
Absolutely. And so I agree with you, Drapes. I mean, I would be kidding you if I'm not sitting here saying I am worried about the defensive line, no pressure. I'm not worried about the linebackers, and I'm not so much as worried about the defensive backs. And I know a lot of people picking on Ambry Thomas right now. But I think this team starts with the defensive line. It ends, starts and ends with them. And so I'm a little worried, brother. You got me. I got to be real here.
Finally, man. It took you yesterday and most of today, but
I was still celebrating yesterday. I still have my pineapple.
Victory Monday.
My mocktails,
Yeah, we'll look at the numbers that underscore why a lot of 49er fans are concerned about the rushing defense. But as far as what Shanahan said, quote, you want to be able to go through tons of games and be able to win games any way possible. I always feel you're capable of winning a game any way possible, but it just hasn't gone that way this year totally. We've been able to win a bunch of games pretty easily where that fourth quarter isn't so stressful. The ones that we lost, usually you could see that happening earlier before that game. So to get in some games like this, it's just good experience for our players to go through it and to make sure to see how important it is to go through all 4 quarters, win or lose, that you're never out of it, end quote. If there is one bit, and I agree with you, Kyle, a lot of this is coach speak. What's the coach going to say? But I do think, there's a lot of talk from a lot of people that the 49ers can't come from behind. Well, at least they've done that now twice in big games.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance you'll have to do that against the Chiefs. And at least they know that, it can be done because we just did it twice.
Yes, and you're right. They did it. They've proven it. I'm not going to take away a whole lot of credit, but I will say, look at the 2 quarterbacks that they did it against. And I think when you look at Kansas City, Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, they won't beat themselves. They won't crap the bed. And so you look at the comeback win against the Detroit Lions. I maintain, and I've said it before, San Fran marches down the field in the 3rd quarter to start after the half. They kick the field goal. Detroit comes right back, kick the field goal to make it a 27-10 game, 3-score game. And so I think what you saw happen this past weekend is Dan Campbell give way too much credit to this 49ers offense. Like he felt like he said 30. No, he felt like he had to score 40 the way he was coaching. And so I don't know if Andy Reid and them are going to, come out like that this week. Sure, it helps, but you know how it is in sports, Whitey. I said this earlier. I thought the same thing about my Eagles. You just never know. You just never know.
We tried to tell you about your Eagles, but you
I know. I wouldn't listen. I was hard-headed. I was stubborn.
But the thing about Dan Campbell, this about sports too. Let's say they had gone for that field goal, the one that you're talking about, and I agree with you, but let's say they tried for the field goal and missed it. And then the 49ers, we got momentum, and people would be saying, Dan Campbell always goes for it. Why didn't he go for it? So, You just never know. That's
Can't
why,
win for losing, though, as a head coach.
yeah.
Whitey, you know
Right,
that.
Right. I think the other one where they could have tied the game, to me, that was the one, as I said yesterday. When you could tie the game and you don't kick it, that was the one that I thought, I don't think he knows where he is. So that was a strange one. But when we come right back, and we've been talking about this, if the 49ers don't fix this, they are in super trouble. Some numbers for you next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Super Bowl 58, live from Las Vegas, Sunday, February 11th on Sactown Sports.
If you think getting hurt in an accident is bad, wait until you deal with the aftermath. Even what seems like a small accident can have devastating consequences to your health, employment, finances, and family. All this can be avoided by getting the right help and calling the Scranton Law Firm. Since 1973, we've collected $500 million for our clients and helped thousands of people just like you. Call us at 1-800-707-0707 or ScrantonLawFirm.com.
At Elk Grove Kia, we get it. Life happens. We believe in second chances. Have repos, late payments, or faced bankruptcy? No problem. Our finance department is top-notch and ready to make miracles happen. No need to worry about money down. At Elk Grove Kia, you can drive away today with $0 out of pocket. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance to drive the car of your dreams is just a visit away. Elk Grove Kia, where we turn obstacles into opportunities. Dare to drive differently.
Elk Grove Kia.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Drive Guys with you. You know, anytime somebody's named an all-star, he was an all-star, she was an all-star, that's great, or all-pro. The thing, Kyle Draper, that I think we got to be wary of is anytime you hear somebody was a Pro Bowl this or a Pro Bowl that, because today Gardner Minshew was named one of the AFC's 3 Pro Bowl quarterbacks.
What?
So, the 6 Pro Bowl quarterbacks now, which 6 quarterbacks are in the Pro Bowl? You think, oh, man, these guys are great, right? The 6 Pro Bowl quarterbacks are Gardner Minshew, C.J. Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith, and Baker Mayfield. So only Tua remains among the 6 who were initially named Pro Bowlers. Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford were all named Pro Bowlers when the rosters were announced, but none of them are going to be there Sunday. You know, when we're playing, or I just don't want to do it. So Gardner Minshew's a Pro Bowl quarterback. Good for him. How about that?
Hopefully it's not tied to your contract in the NFL, right? I mean, that's a joke. You know, Gardner Minshew as a all pro, like a Pro Bowler, like Pro Bowl, just come on. What are we doing? What are we doing in NFL? This is terrible. Like, let me look at his numbers just to make sure I'm not off base or anything.
I don't think they were terrible, and they almost made the playoffs, but you know, Pro Bowl, you'd think they'd be like, whoa, you got to be good to be in the Pro Bowl.
Wow. He was 17th in the NFL in total yards. Let me look at the rating because obviously he didn't play the entire season. Whoa. Hold on here. You know, it's bad when you got to start scrolling down. Oh, my gosh. He was 25th in the NFL in quarterback rating. Now, some guys started 5 games, 6 games, 8 games, something like that. Yeah. But my gosh, Gardner Minshew, a Pro Bowler? Jeez.
And it's not his fault. You know, they asked him, like, okay.
Right, of course. Good for him. But, that's terrible.
That's why anytime we're talking about
take it seriously, why should we? I mean, that's a bad look for the NFL.
Yeah. Anytime you're talking about a quarterback, and he made the Pro Bowl, it's like, that doesn't count. But as far as the Super Bowl goes, here's a concern for 49ers fans, I think. According to The Ringer, there's only 3 teams that allowed a positive estimated points over average on runs up the middle this year. So runs up the middle, only 3 teams allowed positive numbers this year. The New York Giants were terrible. The Carolina Panthers, who were awful. And the 49ers. Ooh. The 49ers, one of 3 teams that allowed the positive yardage up the middle. And you've got this week they're going up against Isaiah Pacheco. He averages more than 3 yards per rush after contact. So he's a beast between the tackles. So this is that's I think job one for the 49ers to get cleaned up before the Super Bowl.
Well, tackling's been an issue for this team for most of the season. I mean, you're right about that. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to. When you look at the strength of the 49ers, and I'm talking about their key skill position players, Deebo Samuel and CMC, their ability to not only inflict punishment, but also to get yards after the contact is huge. And so it may be what this game comes down to. If you don't stop Isaiah Pacheco up the middle, then that opens up Patrick Mahomes and it just snowballs. And I think it's the same for the Chiefs. I still maintain for Kansas City, stopping CMC has to be at the top of the list. And both those guys, Pacheco and CMC, they deliver punishment, and the yards after the contact are huge for them.
It was so discouraging during the Lions game. And I know the 49ers came back. It was tremendous. But in that first half, 3rd and 12, and the Lions ran the ball, and they picked up the first down. Remember that wide run? It's like, oh, my goodness. They picked up a 3rd and 18. It just felt like there's just, wow, if you cannot stop the other team. And I don't know. I'd love to know in more detail what adjustment. I think they went away from zone and went to more man. But it was night and day, because in the first half, it was like they didn't have enough guys on defense. That's why I thought you could argue that Campbell probably should have gone for it at the end of the half rather than kick the field goal. They got the points all good, but the 49ers couldn't stop them. So how are they going to stop Patrick Mahomes? I don't know, but they still have some time to figure that out, Drapes. And I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Of course they will. They always do, right? The Niners always figure it out. And we're going to have some NFL guests, obviously, throughout the week and leading up to Super Bowl week, guys that know it a little better than us, that can break down the film and tell us what it is that the Niners are doing right or wrong, or what adjustments they could make. But, the NFL is all about the line of scrimmage and who owns that. And I think it may come down to Pacheco versus CMC. Christian McCaffrey, can I at least give him his praises? I do it every time, every show we have. I'm impressed with him more and more. It's not just his ability, yards after contact. Like, he runs hard. He reminds me, if I'm gonna say this correctly, he's the Domantas Sabonis of the NFL, because he plays hard every single time he touches the ball. You can feel him and feel the punishment that he's delivering out there.
Yeah.
Relentless, right? He is just, I mean, we knew he was good before he got here. I didn't know he was this good. I mean, he has been phenomenal.
That's a really interesting point. So let me ask you, in your learned opinion, who is the Brock Purdy of the NBA? What do you got?
That's a good question. That's a great one. It would be somebody in the G League, probably.
And don't just immediately start hating all of a sudden, because we know how you get when you say Brock Purdy.
Yeah. See, I know
if I'm
your friend Isaiah Thomas just tweeted something about my brother, my Mr. Irrelevant brother. Way to go! So I mean, there's certainly some similarities there.
Yeah, you're right. IT. And what? It's interesting. I was going to remember, I started off the football season saying Jeremy Lin. Remember, he was Linsanity. But, Isaiah Thomas could be an accurate comparison too, coming off, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft. If I'm correct, a two-time All-Star, really put up some numbers. And, obviously his career was short-lived. But when you look at fitting into the system, if you will, in Boston and how they tailored it for him, some say Brock Purdy is a system quarterback. I'm not saying that. I'm not going that far. But, the ideal situation. And so, maybe it's Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, and you never gave him his due either, did you? And that's why he won't come on the show, right? So it's very similar.
AJ, call IT up and three-way him in for me so I can holler at him, because he's not accepting my calls or text or anything like that. It's a misunderstanding. I stuck up for Isaiah Thomas when he had his hip injury.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that Jay can't get him on, and I know you said
Jay, you know what? I'm about to hit him up. You got me angry, Whitey. I'm chilling here in this ballroom, just relaxing.
What got you angry?
Did you re-up? Did you re-up on the pina colada?
No, man, the break wasn't long enough at the 4:12.
Well, I can make one.
Look,
I hold the power. Just let me know how long you need, and I need to see the re-up for Drapes.
I'm gonna go see my guy Jose out there at the pool, and he'll mix me up one. Look, dude, this thing is dried out on me now.
You're not. That's Sahara Desert. You're not even in Miami no more.
Right? Exactly. So, dude, I'm serious about Isaiah Thomas, though. We need to three-way him in, and if he's really salty, I need to have some words with him.
I don't know, Jay.
What you want me to text him, or what we saying here?
Text him, call him, three-way, something like that. Give me something. You know what I mean? Like FaceTime, Zoom call, whatever you want to do, big fella.
Send a bird message, smoke signals. You about that life right now, okay?
Exactly. You know what I'm gonna do? Like we did back in elementary school. Are you mad at me? Yes or no? Circle one.
Yeah, you can get him some of those candy hearts for Valentine's Day, maybe. Too.
Right? I may have to.
Yeah.
I love you, Isaiah. Man, that's messed up, dude.
By the way,
Tim starting stuff, man. Yeah. I've noticed Whitey today. He been percolating some things today. I like where you're going.
Yeah.
10 on the text line says Keegan Murray would be Brock Purdy in the NBA due to second season uprising, trending upward. But Keegan was a 7th pick. I know where you're going, Tim.
Draymond.
Yeah.
How about Draymond?
How about that?
What is 10? No, I'm not going to do that to him. Go ahead, man. I'm not going to do it.
Draymond was a second round guy.
Boy,
not thought of like that.
To our boy 10. 10 blowing up the text chain. That's because we ain't taking his phone calls anymore. That's why he's trying to get in where he can fit in on the text line because we ain't taking his phone calls anymore.
It's a veteran play right there. When we come back, Jason Kidd has high praise for Luka, as in he must be high to say that. That is next here with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The 49ers earned the NFC's top seed.
On the first play of the game, CMC Dynamite!
Join all of our shows. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles, and Watkins. And the Drive Guys as they follow their quest for a 6th Super Bowl title.
Pressured right away by Young and sacked by Eric Armstead.
Sactown Sports is your home for San Francisco 49ers football.
San Francisco!
Hey, it's Boost Mobile here with a great deal to keep you connected. Now, when you switch to Boost, you get 4 lines for $100, plus 4 free 5G smartphones like the Galaxy A15 or the Moto G Stylus 5G. We're here to bring you the best phones on America's largest 5G networks, so you can get after it. Switching is easy. Just head to your local Boost Mobile store. That's 4 lines and 4 phones for $100, only at a Boost Mobile near you. Requires port in, auto pay, and ID verification. Available in select markets only. Other restrictions apply. See participating stores for details.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
It's time to buck up Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.
Stop by any participating AM/PM location for a 20% off ticket discount code when you buy Monster Energy.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Right now, American Energy offering $0 HVAC diagnostics. That's normally $99 for nothing. Let the American Energy team test your system, connections, and all the moving parts of your system to ensure it's functioning properly. Let me say that again. $0 to get your HVAC diagnostic-ted. That's not even a word. That's normally $100. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what American Energy does. That's what they've done since 1981. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since then. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Do it before January 31st or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
You want headlines? You got them. Kings won last night. 49ers go to the Super Bowl. Kyle Draper is in Miami getting ready for the Kings and the Heat. Take us behind the scenes, Drapes. How do you deal with life on the road? Obviously, there's some things that, you keep close to the vest, but do you watch a lot of shows? Do you go out a lot? I mean, there are things that you stream when you're spending a lot of time on the road. Like, what are you doing tonight?
It's so tonight I'll probably go out by myself, to be honest with you, grab some dinner. I'm not sure what everybody else is up to, but I'm doing this darn radio show. So, I got to do this till 9:00 tonight, then walk around. And we're staying in Coconut Grove, a nice little area, upscale area. Walk around, find something to eat, watch some games on TV. What's interesting about life on the road, and this is an interesting trip, and I'm still trying to adjust. We didn't get to Miami till about 2:30. We didn't get to the hotel till about 3:00. And then by the time you go to bed, it's 4:00. And so you may have, it's an off day in Miami. You may have plans to go out and golf or, do whatever, but you're sleeping in till 10. And so,
Right.
half the day is pretty much over at least, and so you're missing out on some sunshine, some daylight. For me, I download a lot of shows. I got my book with me. It's catching up on work. Really, I'm a big explorer. So usually what I'll do is, I like to go out and just venture out and just walk and see what I see. Looking for shops, restaurants, people watching. And it depends on what city it is. Will I have friends there or not? Like, for instance, we go to Chicago this weekend. Got some buddies I'm going to catch up with there. But it just depends on the city, man.
Yeah.
And let me
you
tell
go
you
out.
too,
Yeah. Yeah.
Miami, I'll tell you a quick story. So I used to love Miami. I mean, I still like Miami, but I used to love Miami, Whitey. I used to hit up South Beach all the time. And then this is a few years back before COVID. This is after I stopped drinking, which was in 2017. I went to South Beach and I was there for like 15 minutes and I just felt like I didn't belong. You know what I mean? Because there was alcohol everywhere and it was partying and everything like that. So now I come to Miami, I'm like, all right, maybe I can get in some golf. Maybe I can get into a nice meal. But the Miami now it's a different experience than what it was, 7-8 years ago for me.
It's probably different now because you go out and you got Kings fans recognizing you everywhere, wherever you are around the country. Right.
And usually I got to take security with me too. And so it's tough sometimes, man.
I'm sure you get that some. I'm sure you're being modest, but I'm sure you
a
get
little
that
bit,
some.
Mostly at the games, people say hi and stuff like that. It feels good. I tell you, it's a different vibe now though than when I first started with the Kings. My first 2 years, we were awful, 28 wins, 30 wins. You arrive in a city and nobody's there to greet you or anything. No fans in the building. On the road. But now, I mean, I can't tell you how many fans, sport their Kings jerseys on the road at the games. Come up, Drapes, Katie, we like you guys. We're so proud of our team, man. You could walk around this city, the NBA, with your chest out, puffed out because you work for the Sacramento Kings.
All right. You said sometimes you watch shows. Can I suggest a show for you? You may not be. Yeah. I just started watching this and I'm mentioning this A, because I like it, and B, I'm wondering if anybody else is watching it. True Detective Night Country with Jodie Foster. It is weird. It's a very strange show, and I've only seen the first episode. I think they're up to like 5 or 6 now, but you haven't seen that one yet?
No, I haven't seen that. I need to check that out.
Maybe,
I got to put that on the list.
Yeah, I'd love to know what you think. But anyway, moving on here. Jason Kidd is coach of the Mavericks, of course. Here's what he has to say about Luka. We know Luka had 73, and then the Kings cooled him off a little bit, but Jason Kidd is just gushing about Luka. He says, quote, "He's better than Dirk. He's in the atmosphere of MJ, the best to ever do it, LeBron, Kobe. And so just to appreciate what this young man's doing at the age of 24 is something that Dallas has never seen. I've said this internally. He's better than Dirk. He does things that Dirk could never do. Now is the opportunity of getting the right people around him to ultimately win a championship," end quote. What do you make of that?
What the heck is Jason Kidd talking
Thank
about?
you. Thank you. Thank you.
My man can't even make it to the finals. Dirk is an MVP. He won a championship. You talk about some of the games where he used him and Jordan in the same sentence.
And they were teammates.
Exactly. Dude, Luka arguably is one of the most underachieving players in the NBA. He puts up stats and everything, but what has he done in the playoffs? Like last year, you get Kyrie and you miss the playoffs? Come on, man. It's a joke. Jason, it's interesting. Like Kendrick Perkins said earlier today, I think it was Perker, it might have been somebody else. If Jason Kidd wasn't Luka's coach, he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't have that opinion. But he's sticking up for his guy and everything like that. I get it, but he's putting up some numbers. You talk about empty calories. Luka is a stat stuffer, but it doesn't necessarily lead to wins.
No, I agree with you, and I think Luka, perhaps more than anybody else, there are a handful of guys playing now, and we know who they are. But he is benefiting, and his legacy is benefiting from the fact that the game is more offensive-minded than it's ever been. So what happens is you have a guy like Luka who puts up some big numbers, which is not easy to do. I know you got to be good to do that. Then you take those numbers out of context and compare them to 73 points. You got to be one of the all-time greats to do that.
Right.
And I think that's very misleading.
Look, think about it like this, Whitey, and I think you mentioned this the other day. The Sacramento Kings had the best offense in NBA history efficiency-wise. This year, how many more offense? Like 5 of them are ahead of where the Kings were last year.
Last I checked, it was 7, actually, the last time I checked.
Yeah. Scoring is so easy. It's the easiest it's ever been in the NBA to get a bucket. And he scored 73. We saw that Atlanta Hawks defense. We know Atlanta's not a great defensive team. And so I just think Luka's great. He's putting up numbers. He's a great player. What's missing from his resume, obviously an MVP, but also playoff success. Now, if he starts winning multiple championships,
yes.
then we can have that conversation. But right now, he's just a good player that puts up numbers.
It bothers me, and maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I'm way off here. But for Jason Kidd to say that about a guy that he won a championship with, he's way better than Dirk. Well, Dirk was your guy. Right. You know what I mean?
And if I'm Dirk, that's disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Dirk, I'm sitting at home or out there. I'm like, what? Dude, I carried you to a title. What are you talking about? It doesn't make sense. And you know what? It's clickbait. It worked and everything. He's sticking up for his guy. I guarantee you, when Luka sees him, he's like, thanks, coach. Like he's earning the trust of his star player. But come on. And Jason Kidd has played against the greats. He's been around long enough to play against Jordan, Kobe, and all these guys. And for him to say that, come on, man.
Oh, well, yeah. Again, coach speak taken to an extreme. But there you go. Like you say, there's a method to his madness. I just disagree. And I got to be honest. I know somebody called last week. I think it was it Will, because they didn't like what I said about Luka. We talked about Luka and the whole cloud hanging over the Kings, and now I think it's easier to say they're okay. They didn't draft him. They're okay. But I just think there's something about him that he's so ball dominant. He's a little overrated, as skilled as he is, because it's all about him. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, as you pointed out, his teams have never really won anything.
Yeah. And let me ask you, when you look at his numbers, do you feel that they are empty calories, if you will? Do you feel like, sure, he's putting up the numbers, but they don't lead to wins?
I do to a degree, but I'll also say this: the other side of the coin is, again, I feel strongly about Luka that way, but a basketball guy that I respect as much as anybody I've ever talked to, our buddy Jerry, who had his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Jerry Reynolds! And talking to him about Luka, he said, we were talking about this last year, I think, and he said Luka reminds him of Oscar Robertson a lot, just the way he plays. So keep that in mind. I understand that.
Okay.
I just think he's a little. I just think he could trust his teammates a little more and be a little more about winning, playing defense, getting in the proper shape. I think he'd be a much better player, and I'd be much more willing to talk about him in terms of the all-time greats if I saw that from Luka.
100%. I agree. And, we've had this discussion. Who's the ideal player to play alongside Luka that would lead to wins? Like, they haven't found a combination that'll work when you play with a guy like Luka. You mentioned ball dominance. He's second in the NBA in usage behind Joel Embiid. He shoots 24 times per game. I mean, 37.5%. He's very good. I don't want to take away from anything.
Right.
You're right. He is a very good player. No doubt about that. But I just think, it's interesting because, I brought this up yesterday or the other day. Kings fans are like, man, we are so glad we didn't draft Luka. Like, they're okay with not drafting Luka now. And so I don't know, man. Jason Kidd, I know he's sticking up for his guy. That's his guy. But, and also one of the things that bothers me about today's discussion about the NBA is we never talk about the defensive end, and right. Not Dirk wasn't a great defender. I'm not saying that. But when you talk about Jordan, when you talk about LeBron, you talk about Kobe, they've had all defensive teams. Luka will never be on an all defensive team. And so, as Jason Kidd, one of the best 2-way guards, he's forgetting the other end of the floor too.
And I do think, going back over ground that we've all covered again and again and again, when the Kings had that decision to draft Luka, I believe, and you said this years ago, and some people said, oh, you're just being a Kings homer. It's like, I don't work for the Kings. I never have. But I still think you had to make a choice there between Fox and Luka. I don't think they really could necessarily play together, at least at that time. Could be wrong, but the Kings made their decision. I think they had to, at that point, I think they had to make that choice. And I think right now you could say, well, it worked out okay, other than, they just should have picked a better player than who they picked. That's all, when they passed on.
Right.
That's all.
And maybe it wasn't Luka, but it could have been somebody else.
Yes.
Just get that pick right, whoever it was. Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
When we come back, back to the Super Bowl, how this Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl is going to look a lot like the last one. And by the way, your thoughts on Luka? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You okay now? Luka, the Kings didn't pick him. You all right with that? Or does it still keep you awake at nights? It's a Drive Guys rolling on here on Sactown Sports.
The Kings look to extend their win streak to 5 in a row.
He scores again. Harrison Barnes is just in fuego.
It's the Kings and the Heat from Miami, Wednesday at 4:30 on your home of the Kings. Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We're from Washington. We love Febrez's new scent. Refresh and energize.
So much we made a song about it.
I can't escape this feeling inside. Refresh and energize. It's a mood, it's a vibe. Breathing for the first time. So free, so alive. Breathe happy for free. Smells like paradise. Breathe happy for free. La, 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 la.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how?
Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store. And I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
For sore feet, aching back, knee, or hip pain, come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, or Vacaville.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Plus line dancing, a mechanical bull, and Sacramento's best food trucks. One-day tickets are on sale now, starting at $46, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more info, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Hobler Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
If you think getting hurt in an accident is bad, wait until you deal with the aftermath. Even what seems like a small accident can have devastating consequences to your health, employment, finances, and family. All this can be avoided by getting the right help and calling the Scranton Law Firm. Since 1973, we've collected $500 million for our clients and helped thousands of people just like you. Call us at 1-800-707-0707 or ScrantonLawFirm.com.
Yeah, Kyle Draper's in Miami, and he's having a quiet evening. Sounds like, Jay, if I'm honest, it sounds to me like Kyle really is feeling kind of sorry for himself. Like, yeah, I'm doing the radio show with you guys, and G-Man and Katie and everybody, they're out having a good time in Miami. Doesn't it sound a little bit like that? Like Kyle's a little wishing he was out with his friends. Is that the case, Kyle?
A little bit, but then I remember, the hookup from our guys at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. And I'm like, you know what, Drapes? It's okay. It's okay to be in the ballroom long as my guys at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Go check them out, Jay. Go check them out, Whitey. As long as they take care of your boy, I'm good.
All right. Good for you.
I know that sounds bad, but this is how my mind works. I'm like, all right, Clevelander partying with a bunch of people, which is fake, it's not real, or having a nice, luxurious car. And so that was my decision.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's the price we pay.
Good call. Good call. By the way, people, and I know you've seen this on the chat, people appreciate your Jimi Hendrix t-shirt, as do I.
Oh, thank you, my man. I've had this for a while. This is one of my favorite t-shirts here. Got it from
I can only see the top
Tennessee,
of it.
actually.
Yeah. Oh, really? It's very nice.
Yep. You can only see the top here. Let me toggle down, if you will.
Yeah. James
Purple
Marshall.
haze.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
see. All right. So in a way that has kind of a Kings theme, even though I know he's a Seattle guy. All right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Very nice.
Doug Christie, I'm sure Doug Christie was a fan of him. back in the day, or something like that. So yeah, he's a Seattle guy. So
yeah. All right.
One of my favorite shirts.
Yes. One of mine too. One of my favorite shirts of yours. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We were just talking about Luka, and maybe Jason Kidd went a little overboard saying Luka's better than Dirk and as good as like MJ or Kobe. On the text line, someone asks, do the Mavericks have a random drug testing policy asking for a friend? Don't know about that, but I was wondering the same thing. But we have Shreska with us here on Sactown Sports. Hello, Shreska. Thanks for listening. What can we do for you?
Hey, guys. My frustration with the whole Luka situation was stemming from who we ended up drafting.
Yeah.
And not from the fact that, we didn't really draft Luka. Now thinking back, they've had some flashy seasons. They had some, nice little ESPN highlights over there at Dallas. But you're right. They don't have a whole lot to show for it. And, at the end of the day, I love the way the Kings are playing, sharing the ball. There's no ball hog, on our team. That's like just stat stuffing out there. And if Luka was here, I don't think we're going to have half the guys that we have on our roster. Just have Luka and a bunch of guys running around. So at the end of the day, I think it all worked out. I am disappointed that we didn't really do better with that second pick, though.
Yep, that's a great point.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I just think, Kyle, it's very significant here, not to pile on Luka, but, just that the Kings missed on him, didn't draft him, and it looked like it was going to be a thing that would set the franchise back for perhaps a decade. And instead, here they are, and they're doing very well. And they pulled out of that, and that cloud is no longer overhead.
Not at all. And, I go back to the one move Monte McNair made by making that trade for Domantas Sabonis, because ever since then, it's been Luka who. Not that Sabonis, and Luka are comparable or play the same position or anything, but Sabonis's impact on this team has turned us into a winner, a playoff contender. And I think, that's all we could hope for. As I look back on that 2018 draft, maybe you don't draft Luka, but what about Jaren Jackson Jr., next to pair with De'Aaron Fox, Wendell Carter Jr., a guy we talk about in trades right now. How about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? When you look at that draft, there were so many players that, the Kings could have taken. And let's keep it real. They just took the wrong one. And I maintain too, Whitey, when you're a franchise like Sacramento, Charlotte, whatever it may be, not necessarily the glamour franchises that's fault. When you have a top 5 pick, top 2 pick, you got to get it right.
Yeah.
And fortunately, Monte McNair sort of cleaned up some mess, made some moves, and now we're on the right track. But it took us a while.
Yeah. And I agree with you completely. At the time, there was a lot of talk that the Kings were very, very, very interested in Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
And they kept visiting, and, he had back problems that kept him out of commission for a while. Denver, they were able to roll the dice on that and take him later. The Kings, it looked like, really wanted him. And then it came down to, I still am not sure why they passed on Luka. Was it because they felt it was either Fox or Luka? Was it because Vlade didn't get along with his dad? I've heard that. I have no idea. Maybe they just saw, Marvin Bagley is, hey, we've got guards, but we just need a forward here.
Right.
I don't know,
right.
but it's remarkable that at this point you can look back at that and go, yeah, you know what? They're still in really good shape.
Yeah. Those are things that sometimes teams don't recover from, you know, and they have, and sooner rather than later, quicker than I expected, because that was all the talk when I first got here. Oh, Marvin Bagley, and then you had his dad stuff and everything, the social media stuff. It was a bad situation for him in Sacramento and for Kings fans in Sacramento with him. And as Luka ascended, it was a constant reminder, like, darn, we missed the boat on that one. We should have drafted him. But now, you know what? You're good to go. It's in the past. Like, the Kings finished ahead of Luka and them last year. I think they'll do it again this year. So if you're a Kings fan, you're good right now.
Yeah. And so Keegan Murray, great draft pick. Halliburton, I know that's difficult still in a lot of ways, but you get Sabonis for him. Davion playing well. They've drafted extremely well. And they ended up, and I'm not saying, it was fine, but you ended up getting a useful player still for Bagley anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. We got our guy Trey Lyles.
There you go.
In that Bagley deal. And, our boy Trey Lyles, if you had us to do it all over again, would you take Trey or Bagley? It's a no-brainer, right? And so, what's interesting? I follow a couple of guys out there in Washington, and they were like, and they tweeted out, ever since Marvin Bagley came, our offensive rating has been this. And it's like, they're looking at Marvin Bagley as a guy that's going to help turn them around. And so it didn't work in Sacramento. It didn't work in Detroit. But, one man's trash might be another man's treasure in this case.
I hope so. I mean, I tend to not root against guys. It would be nice to see if Marvin Bagley were able to find whatever it is he couldn't find when he was here. I think we can all agree on that, right? Good for him. Good for the league. It's just maybe he learned some things here from the rough time. It just seemed like he felt entitled here from the moment he got here, and Dave Yeager wasn't having any of that.
Yeah, and I don't think his dad and family did him any favors, right? He seems to be a good kid. Like, I thought his heart was in the right place, at least in my dealings with him. To me, it was never about, anything he said or did, in my opinion. It was always about, well, after the game, his dad tweeted out this. Or after the game, somebody in his camp says this, you need to play my guy. He's unhappy. Trade him. Get him out of here. And then, for him, it's, he'd always would be the player that the Kings drafted instead of Luka, and trying to outlive that and try to overcome that. It was just too much for him to handle.
Mm-hmm. It's possible that the Kings made that decision for good reasons. I've gotten into real bitter arguments with people about this over Twitter. Just this notion that, hey, you really couldn't have Fox and Luka on your team. Their styles wouldn't mesh. And I've had people tell me it's idiotic. You got to take the best player. And I understand that, but I do think if that was the reason why they didn't pick him, it does make some sense. And it turns out, they got a guy who's third team all league and still improving. So maybe Vlade actually got it right. I know that seems like a stretch at this point, but it's worked out okay to this point anyway.
Yeah, but I will say on that, look at what Atlanta did also. They drafted Luka and then traded him. They had the swap. And you get Trae Young, you get who was the other guy? DeAndre Hunter, I think it might have been, or somebody like that. No, it might have been Cam Reddish. I can't remember who it was. And you're thinking, okay, it looks nice. And, you could argue Atlanta made a mistake as well. But I remember when Luka was coming out, and a guy I work with in Boston, Max Letterman, this is before the draft. This is a couple of months before the draft. And he's like, Kyle, this guy Luka Doncic, he's only a kid, but they're comparing him to LeBron James. They say he's the second coming of LeBron James. And so he was in on it. He knew how good Luka could be. And so I think, when you talking, and I agree with you, maybe he couldn't play with De'Aaron Fox, but man, it'd be like, what if Jordan was available? Are you not taking Jordan because you got Clyde Drexler on your team? No, and you figure it out. You get and that's the thing I think about Sacramento too. They were at a point where you just needed talent. Get the talent in and then figure out from that point on. Look at Monty McNair's drafts. You already had De'Aaron Fox. Then you draft Tyrese Halliburton. You draft Davion Mitchell. Those are all point guards, if I'm correct. You get the talent and then you figure it out. Maybe you could make a trade at some point, which Monty ultimately did. And so I think it worked out for Sacramento, and I applaud Monty, because we'd still be talking about Luka and Marvin Bagley if Monty didn't work his magic and turn this thing around.
Yeah, totally agree. By the way, speaking of the Hawks, I don't know whether you saw this. You probably did. Apparently, Coach Snyder there in Atlanta, he didn't want to trade DeJounte Murray. And I know you and I were both really high on that idea. And there's a lot of talk of him maybe moving to the Lakers. And there's been talk that he's not a good fit with Trey, as we're talking about guards fitting together. But DeJounte Murray's having a really good year. He's a good defender. And, their coach says, I don't want to trade him. So I think from where I am, I think the smart thing for them would be to hang on to DeJounte Murray.
I agree. Like when you are looking at, pairing somebody with Trey or which work, he's not the issue. He's not the problem. Maybe you look at trading Trae Young, as great as Trae Young is, putting up numbers 27 and 11. Talk about empty calories. those numbers have not equated to wins. And so I don't think DeJounte Murray is the problem there. And I actually think, I actually like the backcourt, but Trey has some shortcomings, obviously, on the defensive end. I think he has some shortcomings when it comes to leadership as well. And so those are the issues they need to fix, not DeJounte Murray.
Meanwhile, this road trip is coming along nicely where the Kings go from here and where they appear to be heading in the standings next when the Drive Guys roll on. Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle Draper, your boy Drapes once again for the fine people of Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I know you hear me raving all the time about my new EQS SUV they outfitted me with. It's the most stunning vehicle I've ever driven, hands down, no questions. I got news for you, though. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton also has a full-service commercial fleet center. So if you run a business, head on down there right now. They have a huge selection of rugged Mercedes cargo vans, and interest rates are as low as 4.9% on 2023 model year vans. Outfitting your company with Mercedes vans is just smart business. And get this, you can also get substantial IRS tax breaks on your new Sprinter van. Of course, some restrictions apply. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is such an elegant car or van shopping experience. Every customer is a VIP. They'll treat you that way as well. It's right there in North Stockton, right off of I-5, a half-hour drive from Sacramento, or, of course, online at mbfstockton.com.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
And we are the proud home of the 49ers in the 916. Coming up, bottom of the hour, Akash Anavarathan, 49er insider for Bay Area Sports Digest. We'll get back to the 49ers Super Bowl conversation, because if we go too long without talking about the Niners and the Super Bowl, I hear from Kyle, he's like, come on, we got to talk about the Niners some more. Can we talk about Brock Purdy some more? So appreciate that, Kyle. We got to make sure we
phone's blowing up, Whitey. You're right.
Phone's blowing up, right? You know what? I do want to say, I'm going to give Niners fans some respect. They didn't light me up in the mentions. They didn't text me. It's been pretty respectable, and I appreciate that, Niners fans, because no need to kick anybody when they're down. I didn't do that to you guys earlier this season when you lost 3 in a row, right, Whitey? I didn't kick them when they were down. And
you laughed. You laughed at them.
I did call in that time and laughed, right?
Yeah. Right after
Just
they
like
lost
that.
to Minnesota the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate Niners fans being sympathetic and, not rubbing it in on me. I do want to say real quick, this guy Ken Washington on the text line and tweet line or the YouTube keep asking me, Kyle, you're golfing? You're golfing? No, I'm not golfing. Can I tell you about my issues in the travel to Miami and how disappointed I was today, Whitey? I know you got something planned, but I got to get this story off my chest.
We're good. Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this trip all season long. Your boy had it circled like I was a convict looking for a release date. I was like, on this day, I'm off in Miami. And I said, you know what? Because we got to go to Indiana, Chicago, Cleveland, I'm not going to bring my golf clubs. So I'm not going to golf this Tuesday in Miami. That was my plan. I said, you know what? I'm going to have a spa day. I'm going to treat your boy well. I'm going to pamper myself, if you will.
Petty?
Get a massage,
Doing a petty?
pedicure, lay out by the pool. I had it all planned out. So we land at 3:00 or whatever, get to the hotel at 3, and I look up the spa, and they're closed Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, no.
It is just,
you got
I've been out of sports ever since. Jay, I was upset. I'm still upset. It like ruined my day because I slept in till 10. It's too late then to go golf because I got to, come back and do the radio show. So your boy's been out of sort all day. So if I seem a little cranky, a little moody, a little short with some people, that's why.
Petty. Yeah.
I didn't
there
get
was
my
no
petty
plan
today.
B. There was nothing else you could do to, make yourself feel pampered.
Nah, I might get one tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I might try and squeeze one in, but no, man. I went, like I said, I went for a nice walk, had a good lunch, took a nap because I was tired.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, but man, I was disappointed, dude.
That's
why I got to get out tonight. That's why I got to go somewhere tonight.
It's funny what you're saying about how you're not hearing from a lot of 49er fans. I really think some of it maybe at this point, 49er fans felt a lot of just relief and joy. And so, when 49ers are trying to get to the Super Bowl and fans are just living and dying with every possession, and then they hear you talking about, how you don't care for them, he was, snapping back at you. Then it got to a point where I feel like there's a little, okay, we got to the Super Bowl, so he can say what he wants. I think there's a sense that the 49ers have accomplished something.
Yes.
So it's kind of a relief that they've gotten this far.
So are we calling a truce? Is that what I'm hearing? Is it truce?
No more
way,
no how.
No, that's not going to happen. But I think if let's say the 49ers win the Super Bowl by a lot, and I know there's a lot of reasons to think that wouldn't happen, then you're not going to hear anything. But if things don't go well and you keep, chirping and snarling and yapping, oh yeah, you're gonna hear a lot come February 12th. Yeah, with a vengeance.
I'm not going to kick the Niners when they're down. I wouldn't do that. I may seem like a jerk sometimes, but I'm not that big of a jerk, man. Like if they lost the Super Bowl, if they got smacked in the Super Bowl, like what am I going to say that's going to add to that or make them feel any worse or anything? I'm gonna just lay back and be like, open phone lines. Let me hear from you. What you guys say? I'm not going to gloat. I mean, come on, that's not my style, Whitey. You know that. Now I'll text Jay on the side text and be like to Jay on the side text for sure. But that's about it, man. I wouldn't do that to Niners.
So you're saying, I'm not even going to put that into the atmosphere, but if something was to happen where the Niners didn't win, you're going to come on your show and you're going to open up the phone lines and you're going to be the therapist. That's what I'm hearing.
100%. 100%. That's what I'm here for, Jay. I'm here for the people. I'm not here to make Kyle look good. I'm not here to rub it in or anything like that. This is Sactown sports, baby. It would be now if you lose first round in a divisional round to the Packers, that deserves a little ribbing. But losing in the Super, that would be kind of crushing. And so I'm not that mean of a dude. That's not me, Jay.
That would be like if you have a bad breakup and you go to get therapy and the therapist is your ex. Wouldn't that be kind of like that? It's like, that ain't going to help you any, Kyle. I don't know if we're buying that.
The HIPAA law. You got to adhere to the HIPAA law.
Yeah, I guess so.
I know too much of their history. That's for sure.
If something, and again, I'm not saying it, if something was to go wrong for the 49ers on next Sunday, what do you come and do?
Oh, yeah. It's like, we're here for you.
Okay.
I know some people that I know you're not one of them because I've asked you, but I know some people that I don't think they fully recovered from the last loss to the Chiefs.
Dang.
A 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. I know some real 49er fans that thought, we got it.
That was it.
They're still
it is
trying to recover from that. So hopefully this next game will help them do that. But somebody on the chat was asking when you're going to play that, what is it? We're the 49ers from 1984. I don't know if we'd play that. But this weekend, I don't know either I'd forgotten or didn't know there was a song later on around 88. It was kind of like the Super Bowl shuffle, but it's one of those weird 80s rap songs, Jay and Kyle, where the players have to say who they are. I'm number 42, Ronnie Lott, and I hit you a lot. It's like, oh, my
I got that coming out if you need it. If you want it, I'll bring it to you.
That? Okay.
And there was Doug DeBose on there, and like, Doug DeBose? Yeah, I'm 33, Roger Craig. And I know who you are. You don't have to tell me.
Fumble.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to more 49ers. Kyle, I just wanted you to give us your expert view here on what's going on with this road trip for the Kings, because you said last week, make or break. Right now, so far, they're doing a lot more making than breaking at 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. They look great. They look fantastic, and they are galvanized. They are coming together. It's like Voltron. They're forging together, and just the vibes around the team. They're good right now. What a difference 11 days will make. Remember, there was some angst with De'Aaron Fox. Something was going on. Our boy Harrison Barnes didn't meet with the media. Now it all seems like kumbaya, Ubuntu, if you will. Everybody is together, and so it is making this season, this road trip. And Katie had said it, too, on the Carmichael Dave show. She thought that getting out on the road could help this team, and so far it has.
Mm-hmm. So trade, we can be a lot more selective about whether we want to trade or not now, can't we?
I think so. We're not as desperate as we were 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. All right. Take a quick break. As I said, bottom of the hour, Akash Anavarathan, 49er Insider, going to join us. When we come back, tell you what the Chiefs are trying to do that ain't been done in some time. Next to the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Hey, great question here in the chat. I've got to clear up before we go any further. This is from Manny asking, why didn't Drapes, is JJ in the basketball tournament? And I don't think Jay was here when we
he wasn't here
announced,
that day. No,
we announced our plans. Jay, we're thinking of putting together a station 2-on-2 tournament. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you certainly could be one of our reserves, but you might rather be on another team. I just don't know who your partner would be, but
so y'all threw me to the wayside is what you're telling me.
No, but we will. It's a 2-on-2.
Yeah, I get
unless
it.
We go. I mean, we could go 3-on-3.
No. I don't want to bend or change anything that's going on around here.
I
don't know.
3-on-3 might be better. I just thought of that.
No, 3-on-3 because then you throw the producers in. They got Verlad in the morning. You know.
Yeah. What do you think, Jay? Would you want to roll
Let's
with
get
me
it.
and Drapes?
Come on now. I'm Penny out here, baby. I'm all left hand.
Oh, okay.
Until I have to give you the right. Let's do it. I'm an athlete, man.
All right. I know that.
Yeah.
I know. I just didn't know if you'd have any desire to be, on the court with Drapes and I.
Oh, well, I mean, if we're doing it show by show, I'm riding with you guys, man. I'm loyal to the soil. I'm not going against the grain,
All right. I appreciate that. Okay.
We run our offense through.
We already know Drapes is an assist guy. He's already been throwing up lobs to Rasheed, so.
That's true.
We got to get Rasheed on
out
there.
Yeah. Can we get Sheed on?
Wait, I'm going to have to reach out to him.
He won't. You should reach out, and we will talk about that story. I'd bring it up and see if he remembers that. He might not even remember who I am, man. That's how upset I am about that story.
Yeah. I mean, the list of guys that we can't get on, we got Mitch Richmond wouldn't answer your text, right?
Yeah.
Dominique wouldn't. Dominique. Rashid.
Isaiah Thomas. Rashid.
They just ain't got no love.
5 there.
Drapes must have been pressing the issue about some of these guys' football teams throughout the years.
I guess so.
You know what it is, man. If we being straight, they don't like my unbiased, unfiltered. I'm gonna tell it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. And some people can't handle it.
Yeah. Because it's clearly not that they, it's clearly not that I don't know who that is. They know who it is.
Oh, they know.
They just don't want any part of it as of yet, anyway.
I've gotten a couple texts back. Like, oh, Drapes. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me get back to you.
You know the worst one, though? This is the worst one. I'm going to keep it real. The worst one. Not Rashid, not Isaiah Thomas. I ain't even get a text back from Matt Mayoko. I couldn't even get Matt May. We teammates. We teammates. I even said the boss, Justin Hathaway, said reach out to Matt. Crickets. or your boy Dante Whitner. I'm like, dude, I'm the Rodney Dangerfield. Somebody said the Kings are the Rodney Dangerfield. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of media out here. It's ridiculous, man.
I could probably get Mayoko.
Yeah, I'll get Matt on for it. I think we haven't had Matt on yet.
I want Mayoko. No,
oh, you don't want him. Okay.
Matt Mayoko is, here's how good he is as a guy and as a guest. We're doing an interview with him one time, and you could tell he was in a car, and something happened, and you could tell something's going on. Matt, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I just got a flat tire, guys, but he still wanted to do the interview. And he's pulled over to the side of the road. Well, flat tire's like, yeah, I'm good. That's how dedicated and good Matt Mayoko is. So
maybe the boss gave you the wrong number.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what it is? You know what? 1 week we going to line everybody up, and they're going to have to atone for dissing me. Mitch Richmond on Monday, Rasheed Wallace Tuesday, Isaiah Thomas Wednesday. We're going to go through them all in 1 week. Matt Mayoko on Friday. Let's do it.
I guarantee you, Matt Mayoko is very busy now, so he sees, I got a text from Kyle. He thought it was Kyle Shanahan. You know, they had that kind of blow up a couple weeks ago, so he's like, I don't want any part of that guy right now. So that's probably what it was.
That's what it was, right? If he would have known it was me, he would have. Yeah, you're right.
Kyle, your Chiefs here are trying to do something that hasn't been done in some time.
What?
No one has won back-to-back Super Bowls since the Patriots. Super Bowls 38 and 39, which I think was 04, 05?
Yeah. Yep.
It's been a while. So, man, I hadn't realized that. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be difficult to do against a team as good as the 49ers, the back-to-back thing.
Well, it's going to be tough. You know, the Niners going to be favorites, right? Are they still favorites right now? They're, a better record, better regular season. And there's a reason why it hasn't been done. Even, this Chiefs team, as great as Patrick Mahomes has been, what is he, 2-1 in Super Bowls? And so he can be beaten. It's going to be a tough matchup, but I don't know, man. And this is not me being biased or anything. I look at coach, quarterback, and Whitey, ever since we've been doing the show, I've been talking about coach, quarterback. That's the key to a stable franchise, a winning franchise. And I got to give the edge to the Chiefs. I'm just basing it on coach, quarterback.
The only problem with that is if that were true, Belichick and Brady would have never lost a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, but Eli was good. Eli was better in the actual Super Bowls than his regular season numbers. And you talk about some of the greatest catches in NFL Super Bowl history. I hear you. But for the most part, for the most of the time, it's coach, quarterback. Look at Belichick and Brady. You mentioned it. They lost 3 times together in the Super Bowl, but they won 6.
Right.
So 6 out of 9 times they won. And so the Niners definitely can win. I'm not saying they can't win, but, I like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the fact that they've been there together. We talk about the Niners having to overcome some struggles in the playoffs and to come back. Well, the Chiefs had to go on the road to Buffalo, had to go to Baltimore, 2 of the most. So they're a hardened team now. Also, I'm expecting a great game, man. I don't think this is a blowout or anything. This is going to be a dogfight out there.
I was thinking of how the 49ers are different since the last time they played the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And, of course, Jimmy was the quarterback. But the 49ers now, and this doesn't mean they're going to win, or I realize that, but the playmakers they have assembled since then. When you look at Debo and Ayuk and McCaffrey, of course, Kittle was there, but he's still obviously a very effective and very good player. They have really, and Purdy now compared to, we could argue here, but I don't want to. But right now, my point is Purdy compared to Garoppolo, who makes plays more? As far as the playmaking ability, the 49ers are so much better and explosive than they were in that 2019 season.
Yeah, they definitely upgraded the roster, upgraded the talent, the playmaking. You mentioned you throw in CMC and Brock Purdy. Yes, a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. The thing about Brock Purdy, and I said it yesterday, he's such a gamer, man. It's like, he's one of those guys you can't just, it's like a fly swatter. You can't just hit the 49ers once. You got to keep smacking them and make sure they're done. And so we'll see if the Chiefs can do that. So far, the Packers, they had their opportunities. They didn't get it done. The Lions had opportunities. They didn't get it done because, and give Purdy a lot of credit, man, he just would not say die. He keeps coming back. and it's going to be a hell of a game.
Apparently, Brady, I mentioned this earlier, Brady had some things to say about Brock today, and I think there was audio, but I don't think Tommy really wanted to get involved in it that much. It was so cut and dried. It's like not even worth playing for you. It's my understanding. And I read the comments, and they're more like, he's really good and he played well and he did a great job, So it's like, okay.
Kind of benign, nothing.
Yeah. And I mentioned that, and Chris Watkins said, yeah, but if you're Brady right now, you're thinking, I could have been the quarterback of the 49ers right now. I could be in the Super Bowl right now.
He could be. And that would be an untouchable, 8 Super Bowls or whatever. And so, nah, man, that's good. This would be, we've talked about it, man. This story regarding Brock Purdy, not a 30 for 30. You mentioned it, a Disney movie. I mean, this is unheard of in the NFL.
Yeah, but you got to win. You got to have that ending, that dream ending. Earlier, I mentioned that the Chiefs are going to be wearing red. They had the first choice. They're wearing red, 49ers white, which is the way it was in the Super Bowl in 2020. And Simone sent me this. One-loss records of teams wearing white in the Super Bowl since 2004. Teams in white, like the 49ers, in the Super Bowl since 2004. 16 wins and 3 losses. Boom!
Oh, book it. Oh, my. Bet the kids, college education, everything. Why even play the game? Jeez. Simone and her, and with the skeleton, too. I mean, she got it all covered. Henrietta.
Yeah, we're covering it every which way. We're going to talk to a 49er insider who's been covering the team in depth for a long, long time. He's very excited about the Super Bowl. Akash Anavarathan joins us with a look at how the 49ers can actually stop the Chiefs from running the ball next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings road trip continues Wednesday in South Beach.
Herder with a wraparound, and Sabonis rips it down for a 20-20 game.
It's the Kings and the Heat.
Wednesday at 4:30 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo, with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Plus line dancing, a mechanical bull, and Sacramento's best food trucks. One-day tickets are on sale now, starting at $46, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more info, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Hobler Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram Center.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt!
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Time to get your tickets for the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame celebration, February 4th at Thunder Valley. Inductees include Matt Barnes. Go to Ticketmaster.com.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper in Miami, Buddy Gleason in Sacramento. Drapes, before we get to our next guest, very special guest, somebody on the text line's wondering if the High Flyer and Scott Marsh are going to be in the tournament. I hadn't thought of that. That would be bad news for the rest of us. High Flyer, obviously, is High Flyer. I've played against Scott Marsh for a long time. Fine shooter, knows the game, and he's got a little Dylan Brooks in him. So I don't know if we want to allow them in the tournament. They'd be a tough twosome. Do we have Drapes? I'm not able to hear Drapes. Is that just me? I apologize. Drapes, I'm sorry we couldn't hear you. Are we good to go here, Jay?
There I am. Sorry.
There we are. All right.
Technical,
Okay.
I hit the wrong button on my end. I said I would hack the heck out of High Flyer. You can't foul out in a 3-on-3 game or 2-on-2 or whatever it is. He would have to earn it at the charity stripe. That's for sure. Boy, I would foul the heck out of that dude.
We're going to see his concentration level in, Drapes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You tell him, Jay. You come on, man.
80% all right.
Out there like Draymond.
Our next guest has been covering the 49ers in depth at a very high level for a very long time. He currently is covering the 49ers for the Bay Area Sports Digest. It's a pleasure. I haven't spoken to him in a long time. Akash Anavarathan with us. Akash, thanks so much for your time. I got to ask you, Sunday, at what point were you most fearful that this season was going to end for the 49ers?
It took about 2 drives, and I'm sitting there thinking that, the season's going to end this way. I mean, those first 2 drives, the Lions came out, ran the ball down the 49ers' throats, and that was the exact game script that I didn't want to see. I wanted to see the 49ers come out and slow down Jahmyr Gibbs, slow down David Montgomery, contain the edges, and they weren't doing any of that. And it felt like the 49ers just got punched in the mouth, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, this is going to play right into the Lions' hands. How are the 49ers going to come back from this deficit, even if it was early in the game? And how is this defense going to turn around and get stops if, they're just playing right into, Ben Johnson and Jared Goff's game plan? And so that was the point where I was like, oh man, this could get ugly, but they found a way.
Wow.
Akash, what was the turning point, man? Did you think it was, Dan Campbell's decision not to kick the field goal to make it 27-10? Was it the IU catch? Was it the fumble? What was the big play that really turned things?
I think it was that 4th down decision when the Lions were up 24-10. They're driving, and the 49ers open the half. They go down, score 3, and I'm like, okay, well, it's a 2-score game. They can get a stop. They get the ball back. Let's see what they can do. And the Lions are just driving right down the field, just like in the first half. And you're like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Clearly, whatever adjustments they had made at halftime just weren't working, and they'd forced, I forget what it was. It was a 4th and short. In reasonable field goal range. And I know the Lions have had a ton of success on 4th and less than 3 this season. I think they converted over like 70%. And so Dan Campbell, playing the percentages, decides to go for it. But, it's just different. You're in the NFC Championship game. You're up 14. You could have made it 17 at that point. And with just counting out the number of possessions in the game, it would have been hard for the 49ers if that, turned into a 3-possession game. I think just time is against you there, and he decides to go for it. And I think everyone in the stadium, you could kind of feel it, where I think fans were kind of rooting for Dan Campbell to go for it, because it's just a huge momentum play. You get that stop, you get a short field, you get an explosive, and all of a sudden it's all systems go. So I thought the game really flipped on that play, where it just felt like everyone in the building, you just gave like a jolt of hope with that fourth down stop that, the 49ers have a shot here.
Yeah, Akash Anavarathan with this. Isn't it amazing? In the first half, the Lions had a 3rd and 12, no problem, picked it up. 3rd and 18, no problem. And then the second half, 4th and short, and they failed twice. And, of course, those were both pivotal plays. What's the most definitive answer we have to the question, what was said at halftime? I know you talk to players, and I'm not, I think sometimes we make too much of that. But as far as you know, what is the most definitive answer to that question? What was said at halftime in the 49ers locker room?
I think, honestly, it just comes down to, what they've been through these last few years, right? They've been so close. They've been at the doorstep of a Super Bowl appearance, and they've had heartbreaking losses the last couple of years. And, you go on this run this season, you set yourself up in the perfect way, right? With getting the 1 seed, getting 2 home playoff games, healthy team, like it all just kind of set up for them to be able to make this run. And the way they played in that first half, you're like, it cannot end this way. This team cannot go out this way to the Detroit Lions at home as, a 7-point favorite. So I'm sure at halftime they were just like, you know what, it's a 17-point game. First half happened. Just flush it. Let's get a good start, right? You get the ball to start. Let's make some adjustments defensively, right? Let's play a little bit more fast, play a little bit more aggressive, contain the edges. I think Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator, did a good job just getting pressure a little bit more on Jared Goff than they did in the first half, especially on those fourth downs that just move him off his spot, and all of a sudden Goff becomes a little inaccurate and it turns into an incompletion. So just some key defensive adjustments there. And then offensively, I thought, they moved the ball all right in the first half, and you just have enough faith in how much talent they have, the coaches they have, the player that Brock Purdy is, that eventually over time that they're just going to figure it out on that side of the ball. And defense came through. They, obviously forced that big turnover, and offense just started to execute. Brock Purdy made huge plays with his legs. But I think at halftime, you're just probably sitting there just thinking like, all right, flush this first half. Yeah. Let's just get some stops. Let's just regroup here, and let's just go make this thing happen. You got 30 minutes to the Super Bowl. Let's go punch our ticket.
Akash, you brought up Steve Wilks, and a lot has been made about him this season, and even somebody on the text line just texted us from the 831. I have a lot of respect for Steve Wilks, but he's not the right fit. The defensive roster got better, and the production is worse. This defense is making them somewhat look good. What's going on with the defense? What kind of grade would you give this defense, and where do they need to improve against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs?
I actually think the defensive personnel might be, a little bit more to blame than Steve Wilks himself, right? Especially against the run. I think, a lot gets talked about, they're unable to set the defensive line is unable to set the edges, and teams are able to bounce it outside. But I think, and Steve Wilks kind of talked about this, I know Kyle Shanahan kind of alluded to this earlier in the week, truly when, depending on the play here, sometimes the defensive lineman, the edge rusher's assignment is to crash hard, and you're banking on, a linebacker or a safety or a corner to replace and fill the gap. And those guys just, missing assignments in a key few spots. And especially with, just with the way this defense works, you get one guy out of the wrong gap. You have one missed tackle, you have one blown assignment, and all of a sudden, what could be a negative play turns into an explosive. So it just feels like they're not quite all moving on the same page, and there's just like one mistake, on every play that's kind of costing them. And that was kind of the difference in the first half, honestly. And so I'd say that's, less on Steve Wilks, more on just the defensive personnel that they have, just the execution. Because it felt like, they made a few adjustments, but they just started to execute a little bit better in the second half. They just played a little bit more aggressively, missed less tackles. Guys were in the right spots, and all of a sudden, you start to slow down the Lions' offense. the challenge moving forward, into the Super Bowl against this Chiefs offense, a little different than playing Detroit and Green Bay. Right? Detroit and Green Bay, they challenge you with good pass blocking offensive lines and a ton of weapons. Especially you look at the lines, right? Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jameson Williams, and his speed. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They just have a ton of young weapons that can, all do great things with the ball in their hands. The Chiefs are a little bit different. It's built more like an NBA team, in my opinion, where you've got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and just a bunch of other guys out there. And it's really on those guys to make it happen. Looking through the numbers, they've only scored 30 points 3 times this season. I don't think they've scored more than 27 since like November. They got shut out in the second half last week at Baltimore. So it really feels like, if the 49ers are able to put points and force the Chiefs to score a lot, it becomes a challenge for them. And it has been kind of all season, which is kind of ironic to say because they have Patrick Mahomes, but that's just been their challenge. They've struggled to score quite a bit. They've played, good defense, and they've run the ball with Isaiah Pacheco, and they've relied on Mahomes to make some key plays in pivotal spots. But this isn't an explosive offense like the 49ers faced in 2019 or even the last few years. Kansas City's had just more playmakers compared to this year.
So, Akash, to that point, what's your best guess right now? How many points will it take to win this game?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I'm going to say if the 49ers can score 30, if you're telling me the 49ers score 30, I'm feeling pretty good about their chances to win.
Gotcha. Akash Anavarathan, our guest. Yes,
go ahead. No, I was going to say, you say if they score 30, how do they match up with this Chiefs defense? And, I know Patrick Mahomes gets a lot of credit and shine, but it's really the Chiefs defense that has been awesome so far this season and in the playoffs. How does the Niners offense match up with them?
That's a good question. There's a couple key injuries, for this Chiefs defense, and I'm interested to see how that, impacts them. Obviously, Charles Omenihu, who was a former 49er, he's been fantastic for them this season. He's got like 7.5 sacks this season. Impact player. He had a strip sack fumble, I think, in the AFC Championship against Lamar Jackson. Derek Nottie, who's another defensive lineman, I think he's banged up. And then, I think the bulk of their talent is actually in the secondary. L'Jarius Sneed, their outside corner, Trent McDuffie, their slot corner. Those guys have been playing physical. They're excellent against the run. They're fantastic cover corners. So they've got some talent in their secondary. Defensive line, they've been good against the pass, rushing the passer, obviously with Chris Jones there, but they haven't been as good at stopping the run, especially this season when teams have run outside zone and inside zone against them, which is kind of the 49ers bread and butter. So I'd expect Kyle Shanahan to go kind of throwback here. I wonder if he thinks like, okay, let's run the ball against this Chiefs defense that's been so vulnerable against the run. Which is why it was kind of perplexing why the Ravens didn't run the ball more. I think they only had like 6 non-Lamar Jackson carries last week. So expect Kyle Shanahan to hopefully feed the ball to McCaffrey quite a bit. And, best defense against Patrick Mahomes is just keeping him on the sideline, keeping him off the field. And so I think some of the 49ers' strengths certainly play into the Chiefs' weaknesses. And Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, has historically been a blitz-happy coordinator. I think they blitz like 32% of the time this season. And the best quarterback against the blitz this season is Brock Purdy. So interested to see if Spagnuolo continues that trend or if he's going to sit back, play more coverage. But I think a lot of the things that the Chiefs do, I think the 49ers have answers for. So I like that matchup as well.
Akash, got to ask you about Brock, of course. How much better was Brock under pressure than, as you mentioned, Jared Goff was when the 49ers were able to pressure him?
That was ultimately the difference in the game, I thought. In the second half, the Lions, had a bunch of plays where, they had the perfect coverage called or, they had a blitz that got to Brock or an offensive lineman got beat, but Purdy was 6 of 11 for 88 yards. He had a pick in the first half, but he had 2 huge scrambles for 42 yards under pressure, whereas Jared Goff was 3 of 13, 26 yards, and like a 39 passer rating. So he was awful under pressure. And that was the thing coming into the game, right? Can the 49ers interior defensive line get pressure against Goff? They did in the second half. And the Lions also did a good job of getting after Purdy, but the difference was Purdy's athleticism, making plays out of the pocket. There was that one play where I think it was Melifon Wu had Purdy wrapped, and he somehow evaded it, escaped it, and found Juszczyk down the left sideline who had the toe-tapping catch. So that was a huge difference, and that's honestly been one of the improvements that Purdy has had over his predecessors here in San Francisco, is his ability to extend plays under pressure, or when, things aren't there. He has that second reaction in him to create outside of the structure. And that was honestly probably the biggest reason why they won on Sunday.
All right, Akash, we appreciate your time very, very much. Happy for you headed to the Super Bowl. He does a great job covering the 49ers and has for a long time. 49er insider for Bay Area Sports Digest, Akash Anavarathan. Thanks, brother. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon.
Speaking of the 49ers, it's your favorite time of the week, Kyle Draper, because we got the crossover coming up with the Return of the Empire Boys. It's Nate and Emil Fragoso coming up. How about that? Yeah.
Bring him on. Emil's like, he's like Rocky Balboa. He's training right now. He's in the back, got the punching bag, sweat up. He got a lather going on. Bring it on, Emil.
All right. Nate and Emil are next with the Driving Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly cloudy tonight with overnight lows in the upper 40s to low 50s. Tomorrow, look for increasing clouds, and by late tomorrow afternoon and evening, we will see some rain. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA 3 app.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-220-6697 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-220-6697. That's 800-220-6697. What do you have to lose? Call 800-220-6697. Again, 800-220-6697.
At Elk Grove Kia, we get it. Life happens. We believe in second chances. Have repos, late payments, or faced bankruptcy? No problem. Our finance department is top-notch and ready to make miracles happen. No need to worry about money down. At Elk Grove Kia, you can drive away today with $0 out of pocket. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance to drive the car of your dreams is just a visit away. Elk Grove Kia, where we turn obstacles into opportunities. Dare to drive differently.
Elk Grove Kia.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Start your 2024 grilling season right with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My personal Napoleon P500 series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro. It's incredible. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain, very intense. It can make your eyes water. It makes you walk funny because you're trying to get pressure off your heel. I had instability. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And I was driving past the Good Feet store. I mean, why not? Give it a try.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa.
actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure they fitted me with the right thing. And so they brought out several different arch supports and gave me the opportunity to try them in shoes and walk around with them until they found the perfect ones for my feet. I had no idea that they would be that patient, and I had no idea they would be that kind. And you just knew, like, your feet, just when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. And it really did make a big difference. It made my foot not hurt. I'm Teresa, and that's my good feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
The 49ers earned the NFC's top seed.
On the first play of the game, CMC Dynamite!
Join all of our shows. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Dials, and Watkins. And the Drive Guys as they follow their quest for a 6th Super Bowl title.
Pressured right away by Young and sacked by Eric Armstead.
Sactown Sports is your home for San Francisco 49ers football.
San Francisco!
49er faithful ride with me. Letting go, put it to the day I die.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Yeah. Whitey here in our Sacramento studios, Cal Draper in Miami. Drapes, I wanted to give you the honors. I know how fond you are of the Return of the Empire. Can you introduce the guys and bring them on? They're ready to go here. They're in studio. You want to introduce them?
Yeah, I'll bring in my guys. Nate Littlefield, Emil Fragoso.
Oh, thanks for having me, Drapes.
Hi, Drapes.
Niners fans joining us right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't call me a Niner fan.
Yeah, I kind of would, though. I kind of would.
Drapes, will you do me a favor and say hi to Cinderella for me in that ballroom?
Nice one, Nate. Hey, don't be jealous.
I am jealous.
I'm hella
hey,
jealous.
if you find a glass slipper, make sure you give it to Lost and Found.
Hey, you wish the hotels you stayed in had a ballroom like this, man.
I do.
I know. I said
They're putting us in the Excalibur, Draper, for Media Row.
What? Hold on.
They do not have a ballroom there.
You're going to Vegas?
Yes, I am. I'm the.
Even
I know. I know.
It's like reverse importance. You send a low man on the totem pole to Vegas and then working up to the big dogs?
I think so. Well, they know I can just kind of weasel my way around and just cause some problems. So maybe
I didn't realize you were going.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
I don't think a lot of people would, but here we are.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. This should be fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and Emil, I know
Looking
you're
forward
very excited about getting credentials for the actual Super Bowl itself, right?
Yeah, I would be lying to say it's not a dream come true. I really, I'm very, very grateful, very, very blessed to be in year 2 of covering the Niners and be able to go to the SuperWl and be in the press box. So I will say that
things fell in place for that. It really
did.
Kind of happened.
Team of destiny, as they say.
Yeah. You guys are gonna have a fun show. Let me ask you what we were just talking to Akash Anavarathan about. At what point were you the least optimistic Sunday that the 49ers are going to find their way through?
I was pretty uncomfortable when Detroit was going down to score right before the end of the half. I thought they were going to score a touchdown right there. They kicked the field goal. I felt better. I thought they could have stopped him. The Niners could have stopped him, but I was like, that could be a killer. And then everything flipped.
You're glad they kicked the field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I felt the exact same way.
Okay. I was so hyped when Ayuk had the catch, but that was the start. I was like, okay, that's something. Let's go. But when the fumble happened,
oh yeah,
that was it. That was it. That was like, all right, it's a new game. It's a new game. Jared Goff not playing the same. The only player, in my opinion, that played the same the entire game out of everyone on the field was Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Like he kept the same intensity. He just played the same way. Everyone on Detroit became the Niners. Everyone in Detroit in the second half became the Niners in the first half, and vice versa. Yeah. They just switched roles, and then the Niners They did what they had to do, and I was so impressed by that quarterback for the 49ers. I shouldn't even say his name. I know how polarizing he is. I know he causes problems.
Yeah, I know.
But the way he came out of the hole, because it's so difficult to do that. Throwing that pick early on, and just not being able to just get anything done, really. They ran the ball more. They couldn't run. They tried to, and they couldn't. And then he turned it around.
How about this stat? Brock Purdy had more rushing yards in that game than Jahmyr Gibbs.
Aha.
That's hard to believe, honestly.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I was I was so happy, and it felt like a taste of what the Super Bowl hopefully will be. I'm so excited. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go?
Dude, I don't know if I can take part in this love fest anymore. I mean, this is just, dude, it's killing me right now.
Well, dude, when they go to the NFC Championship and win, get to the Super Bowl, it's like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, Drapes?
Can't you be happy for us? Come on now.
Because I'm an
At least
unbiased,
for me.
you guys are supposed to be unbiased journalists.
Not me. Emil, not me.
That's my job. That's not Nate's.
I have never, ever once said I'm an unbiased journalist. I don't even know why I'm on this show. Like, just because I'm like a fan. Like, I don't even know. Like,
that's why.
One day, someone's like, "Hey, will you do the Niners thing? I know you like the Niners." I'm like, "Okay, but I'm not an analyst. I'm just some dumb guy. I'm some dumb guy." Like, you guys are shocked I'm going to Vegas. Yeah, understandable.
I didn't say I was shocked. I just said I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Drapes. I think Drapes said he was, or something close.
I'm messing with you. I assumed you would go. You guys got
it's more for my digital
show, Return of the Empire. Let's break down the matchup though. Let's talk about this.
All
you guys,
we only got a few seconds. But
we got a few. Oh no,
hey, we can bleed over. We can bleed over.
Okay. Right,
it's our show. No, it's bleed over.
No, I was just going to say,
go ahead, Kyle.
When you look at the road the Niners have gotten to this point, what kind of test is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes going to be? Because they're not going to collapse like the Lions did, like the Packers did. These guys have been there. They've done that. Handicap the coach-quarterback matchup for me.
I mean, been there, done that. So hard to argue that. Those are the 2 points where I think undoubtedly you'd say the Chiefs have the advantage, right? It's coach quarterback.
That's why he went there.
Yeah, that's why he went there. Exactly. That's why he went there.
But if
the Niners, I think it's going to be hard for the Niners, harder, obviously, to win the way they had the last 2 weeks. I think they have to win like they were all season in the regular season. They're going to have to get up early, and they're going to have to control the Chiefs. And I know you'll be like, oh, 2019, they were up by 10, whatever. This is a way different team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar players. This team is so different. This is the best 49ers team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'm you got to keep them in check the best you can. What you cannot do is what Baltimore did, and they let Mahomes have all freaking day.
Yeah.
That guy be in the backfield, just kind of stomping around, doing his little jigs, his little Steph Curry moves.
Doing some online shopping on his phone.
So,
waving to Taylor.
Chase Young, play a little harder, win the Super Bowl. That's it.
Yep. There you go.
That's it.
Drapes, we will talk to you tomorrow. You'll be from the arena tomorrow, right? Getting ready for the
Kaseya Center, they call it now. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Great job. Thank you.
Thanks,
Make
Drapes.
sure you turn out the light on your way out of the ballroom.
Right?
We'll see you later.
Glass slipper.
See if the glass slippers anywhere over here.
Right home in the pumpkin carousel.
Yes. Emil and Nate, the Return of the Empire, are next right here on Sactown Sports.
Slayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video